We are live and in living color this evening. Welcome, welcome. We are live this evening. We got some good boxing to discuss this evening. We have some business to discuss this evening. Welcome, welcome. I know we started a little bit late. Come on in and join us. Come on in. Welcome, welcome. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room this evening. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room this evening. Come on in. Come on in, y'all. Yes, yes. Got some good boxing talk this evening. Got some business of boxing to talk this evening. Welcome. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. I see y'all. I see y'all watching. Come on in. I welcome you. Salute to everyone in the chat. Welcome. You already know what I'm going to say in my introduction. You already know what I'm going to say. You do not have to dust your feet off. You do not have to ring the doorbell. The door is already unlocked and even open for you to come on in and join the live. Come on and have a seat. We're just gonna have some discussions this evening. We're gonna talk about the elephant in the room this evening. Come on in, come on in. Give more people time to join us this evening. Yeah. Hopefully you all had a great week this week. I know that we have a lot of things to cover this evening. We're going to talk some boxing tonight. I'm just so excited about it. Salute to everybody in the chat. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Welcome. Come on in. Yes, I see the viewership numbers are increasing exponentially. Yes. I'm just so excited this evening. Every time I come on here live and in living color, I get so excited because I'm around my boxing family. I'm around great boxing minds. Yes. I'm just so excited this evening. We have a special guest that's going to be joining us this evening in a conversation. This is more like a conversation more than an interview because this person is very dear to my heart. She is like a family member of mine. And so we're going to welcome her this evening. Before I allow her to join, I want to make sure that we all are ready to receive her. And we're also ready to talk some boxing. There is an elephant in the room. We're going to make sure we identify that elephant this evening. Come on in. I salute to all of you that's in the chat. Yeah, we're going to talk about some YouTubers this evening. Yes, some content creators this evening. You know, we're going to talk about some Adrian Broner this evening. We're going to talk about some Steven Espinoza and Showtime and Showtime's schedule this evening. We're going to talk about Terrence Bud Crawford. We got a lot of business to attend to this evening. We're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. We're just going to deal with the elephant in the room tonight. And you all, excuse me, you all could have been anywhere else in the world this evening, but you all chose to be here with Manager Marty. So I thank you all for donating your time. Y'all know I got to keep it real. You know I got to keep it all the way 100. As they say, 1,000, wow. You know I got to always be honest and maintain integrity in what I do. And so we're going to address those things this evening. We're going to have some good talk and some good discussions this evening. I'm trying to give more people time to come on in. I welcome you. If you're joining us live, I welcome you. I welcome you if you're joining us live. If you are joining the replay of this live, I welcome you. If you are one of my subscribers and longtime viewers, I welcome you. If you have contributed to the channel in the past, I welcome you. If you were sent over here, if you were sent over here to watch me as a guard dog, I welcome you as well. And so we're going to deal with it all this evening. I'm just so excited. I want to make sure that we have a full room. There's enough room, y'all. Come on and join us and have a seat as you're entering into the live. There's enough room for all of us to sit down and discuss some boxing this evening. And I just want to make sure that we identify the elephant in the room. If you are in the chat and you are saying my name and saluting and acknowledging me in the chat, I want to acknowledge you back by saluting you all in the chat. And I'm excited. We have a guest with us this evening. I see someone else in the background. Looks like it says Turner Trucking. Someone that's in the we call it the green room in the back. Um, Before I let you on, Turner Trucking, we have a special guest that I'm going to let on first, and then later on in the live broadcast, I will make sure I let you on. Okay, Turner Trucking. So stay right there in the green room, backstage, and I promise I'll let you on. But we're going to go ahead and get started, y'all, real quick. Um, Let me just say this um, real quick before we begin. Um, I have a guest. I told you all on Tuesday evening, if you all recall, I told you all on Tuesday evening to check back in here this evening. Let me turn my camera on because I want all of y'all to see my face. Because you know, Manager Marty, you know, on this channel, we're not afraid to show face. We don't hide behind logos. We show our face around here. But in any event, I told you all to come back and join with me this evening because we'll have a special guest. And I want to make sure that I introduce her to all of you. And I want to make sure that you all receive her with welcome arms. She is a very close friend of mine. She is like a relative of mine, like a distant cousin. She is a great woman who always stand and maintain integrity in everything that she does. And I told you all before on Tuesday evening that we want to be the first YouTube channel in the history of content creation, particularly in the YouTube boxing community, to introduce a professional timekeeper. You've never seen it anywhere else on YouTube. And if you have, I would like to know who the timekeeper was and who the content creator was that interviewed the timekeeper. But we want to make sure that we give all of our professionals that make the sport run very smoothly their flowers while they're still here and while they're still cognizant to smell them. And so we look forward to have more guests on our platform here. Referees, of course, as we've done before. I'm looking for some other professionals whom I know very personally and professionally in this business to invite them onto the channel to gain their perspective, to educate you all on certain elements and the nuances involved that get overlooked time and time again in the sport of boxing. Okay, so tonight we're going to introduce to all of you, and please, y'all, give her a warm welcome. She is a very dear friend of mine. As I just said, she is like a distant cousin. And I say distant because we're very close, but we don't see each other every single day. And so we see each other often because we still work side by side together in the amateurs. And I just want you all to know that we have our dear Alice Grady. She's going to be joining us in about 30 seconds, y'all. But I want to make sure that everyone get an opportunity to join the live. I see the numbers slowly rolling in. Please, if you can, please hit the like button so that this content can reverberate all across the world. We have some great boxing to discuss this evening. Um, and of course, all of you in the chat that's acknowledging me, I salute you all. As you can see on your screen, there's a bell and there's some other equipment that our dear friend and our professional constituent will identify. And ladies and gentlemen, I welcome to all of you, my friend. I need you all to be calm in the chat if you can. If you have some questions that you want to ask, feel free to do so. As you all know, when you contribute to the channel and highlight your comment or question, I will acknowledge them throughout the duration of our dialogue with Miss Alice Grady. But in the meantime and in between, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, I introduce to all of you my friend, my professional constituent, and she's like a relative of mine. Please welcome Miss Alice Grady. What's up, Ali?
Hey Marty, how you doing?
I am doing great, and I'm doing even better because I have you here live in living color. And you know, it took us a little bit of time to get you to move some things in your schedule. And so I want to first welcome you to the Manager Marty channel. You know me personally, but I have to still maintain a decorum of professionalism in front of my audience. And you know, we play around and joke around a lot, and hopefully we can do a little bit of that in this conversation.
Mhm.
As
Mhm.
you know, I have interviewed other professional boxers and referees.
Yes.
And so you know how this go, but I'm going to do something different tonight, Alice. I know that I'm always in interview mode with them, but I'm going to chill and lay back this evening. And we're going to have a conversation like we always do on the phone for hours and hours and hours. So feel comfortable. I want to make you feel like you're at home. You are family to me. You are basically a guest of the channel, but you are family to me. But we want to get right into it, Alice. Before I start, I want to ask you: do you have any welcoming or introductory words to the audience before we start the conversation?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, Marty, I want to say thank you for your edification. I appreciate it. Um, you are doing a magnificent job. I love the roller tape. I look forward to listening to it at all times. I love it. And thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you asking me to be on your show.
Yes, absolutely. You are so welcome, Alice. And you know, the thing I love about what we do here on the platform is we provide a business perspective, but also a perspective of educational purposes, right?
Mhm.
That is very unique to other YouTube channels.
Right.
And so this is why I think it's a great opportunity for you to come join us. And you are an expert. You are certified, you are licensed. We'll get into a little bit of that. But before we get into all of that, Alice, can you introduce yourself to the audience by sharing with us how did you get into boxing? What influences did you have that encouraged you to get into the big sport of boxing?
One influence, and that influence is mom. Growing up with fight parties, watching her go to Atlantic City, to Boardwalk Hall, you know, watching her get dressed up and dazzled up. Because the main thing boxing brings is you got to get fly. You got to, that's the thing. You got to get dressed up. When you go into the fights, it's about that gear. So, just watching her and as an adult, as I got older, you know, going to a live boxing match, it changes you because it's different than watching it on TV, Marty. is
Yeah.
so different. Live, it brings out the anticipation of the event, the hustle and the bustle of what's going on around you. So my first live boxing match was at the Alhambra, which is now called the 2300 Arena. Okay. Um and once I sat in that live boxing match, then I went to the Blue Horizon, watching matches at the Blue Horizon, and I was like, man, it was something I wanted to do, to be a part of it. How can I be a part of it? But it took some years after that. It wasn't right away that I jumped in and said I wanted to be a timekeeper. Um, it took years, and then I just said, I'm gonna just, how do I do it? Where do I begin? And someone told me to start with USA Boxing. So I started with USA Boxing. I wanted to be a part of the sport. I wanted to be a part of that anticipating night. I wanted to be a part of what was going on. So, and that's what I did. I signed up with USA Boxing, and going in, I kind of knew already I wanted to be a timekeeper because I'm laid back. This right here, me being on this YouTube with you, okay, is a lot, okay, because I'm laid back. I'm in the background. I like to be in the background, so much. So I knew that refereeing wasn't something that I wanted to do. Um, I Once I signed up with USA Boxing, I had an opportunity to um, judge. I had an opportunity to see how that was, and I liked it. Um, you know, but again, it's a lot of controversy behind doing that. And I saw that little old spot over there with that sound ringing. That person was just sitting there and just doing what they were doing, and all they needed to do was just ring the bell, and I wanted to see more what that was about. That's what I wanted to see, and that's how it really started for me.
You
Now I
mentioned.
can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
You mentioned USA Boxing, right?
Yes.
Can you tell the audience the training and the certifications that you received and had to experience to be certified and gain that knowledge of learning how to actually time keep in the amateur boxing program of USA Boxing?
So I'll tell you this: that first time that I had a conversation with Jamil Ali. At that time, he was the chief of officials. Um, Around the time that I started during the Golden Gloves of all things. Love that picture. I started during the Golden Glove of all things. And I tell you, at that time, the Golden Gloves was in Chester. Okay. So it was during the registration. And when I walked in and I'm looking at all of these people, and I'm saying to myself, is this what I want to do? It was just, the intimidation of it. Um, but getting started, I just, you have to go in, you register on USA Boxing, you pay your fee, and you do a safe sport. The safe sport, I love the safe sport because it's so educational. Um, where where the referees, I mean the coaches, the officials, the interactions with the amateur children, what to do, what not to do, and you have to pass that. So that was definitely one of the credentials that's required in order to you for you to become an official. So I passed that, and again, you have they show you the clerking. USA Boxing, you get a chance to do that. You get a chance to do timekeeping. You get a opportunity to help out with the weigh-ins as a female official. You are helping with the female boxers. Because you don't want the female boxers to feel, just nervous, where they have to take their clothes off to stand on a scale in front of males, so that's where the female boxers come in at. I mean, female officials come in at. So, helping out in that aspect also, and signing coaches in the glove table. There are so many different things that you get trained on when you come in, and to be an official, and you pick from those things what you can, what you feel like you want to do best. And for me, it was timekeeping.
Yeah. So obviously, no one else knows this on the live right now. But our family, our boxing family know this, and I can share this openly now that you are here. You actually was the first timekeeper to actually train me
Yes.
on learning how to actually time keep. So technically, I'm certified to time keep as well,
Yes.
USA Boxing, and I learned from the best of the best, the
And you
greatest.
do an excellent
You.
job.
Thank you so much. But
Hmm.
before I talk about how you trained me, let's talk about someone or some people that influenced you. Who was one or more of the trainers that trained you in timekeeping?
Okay, so as I stated, the Golden Gloves was going on, and at that time, the president of the Golden Gloves was Lola Corello. Mike Malloy. Mike Malloy was the timekeeper that trained me. And I'm not going to say, like, it's, you having the clock in this hand and you having the clock, and the clock sitting down there, and you watching the ring. You got to make sure that you coordinating with the referee. It's a lot to it, but I didn't care because it was what I wanted to do. It was what I wanted to learn, and I really, Mike Malloy, rest his soul. He trained me, and I appreciate the training. And the unfortunate thing was, as he got sick, he was not any longer able to come. So I was mainly the Golden Glove timekeeper um, at that time. Once he wasn't able to come, other people did but I was like always doing it. And those, when you're at amateur fights, you can have close to 18, fights a night, 20, so I can't say you that's the best experience to have when you're consistently doing it. With those many fights, with that experience, in that tournament, I couldn't have got the best experience at that time.
Yeah. So there's a picture on the screen here. You said you love this picture. Do you remember this picture that we took?
Oh, I do.
We were at Dylan Price's fight,
Yep.
and one of the fighters that I used to manage, he actually
Yes.
fought on that card,
Yes.
and we had a wonderful time.
We did.
There were some things that happened with the bell that sounded good. And I said to you, because you were still training me at this
Mhm.
time
Mhm.
as a timekeeper,
Mhm.
and I said to you, that's that's a great sound of the bell.
Mhm.
And you started telling me there at the fight, and then of course when we went to the shows all around to do our USA Boxing 1-2, you
Yes.
were teaching me about the different types of sounds of the actual bell.
Yes.
Can you talk about the different types of sounds of the bell and how there is an actual technique in hitting the bell the right way?
Ugh. Ugh. Marty. Yes. Let me tell you, it's like hitting a drum. You're not going to hit a drum. You know, it, you're listening. It's like music to me. It's like music to my ears. The bell is round. The one thing that you will not do is use your hammer to hit the bell on the top of the bell, because it is going to is there's no sound there. The ringing of the sound comes from the sides of the bell. And that is where you'll get your best tone at, your best ring at. If you When you're watching boxing on TV, that's the sound that it echoes when the round is over, and you want to hear it clear, and you want to hear it like the ringing in your ears that it's supposed to be. Okay? And I pride myself in doing that. And like I told you, I'm gonna definitely, whoever I train, whoever I teach, that is the number one thing that has to be shown, is you do not want to be doing an event and you do not know how and where to hit your bell. Sound means everything during a fight.
Wow. And speaking of during a fight, can you give the audience the roles or the responsibilities of an actual timekeeper?
Definitely. So my role when I first come in, one thing that I like to do is, I like to know, first of all, where where I'm at. That plays a part too, because sometimes different states have different things that I have to make sure that I have to do. So my first thing that I do is, when I come in, I speak with the commissioner. He gives me my bout sheet. Once I get my bout sheet, I look it over, and I even have one that I can kind of show you an example of. This one right here, where I just do everything. I make sure, if the rounds are 8 rounds, I'm writing down how many rounds it is. Because the one thing that's also important for a timekeeper is, if the referee is not sure of what round it is, he may look at you and say, "Hey, what round is it?" And if I don't have the round checked off, I can't help them. And my job is to help the referee. I am like how can I say, like a running back to a quarter football player. So I'm out there trying to get the ball, okay, and make sure I get the touchdown. So we are in sync. So I have to make sure that, to this referee, that I have everything, the rounds down. I have to make sure that my times, and for pro, it's all 3 minutes except if it's a female. So my clock is in my hand, and when the referee signals me to go, I'm hitting the bell and I'm clicking my watch. My second clock I have down here that will be sitting, and that is in case of, let's say, a low blow happens and the referee wants to give the opponent 5 minutes. Then I have to start my 5 minute watch over here. That's what that second one is for. And when the referee calls it off, I stop that one and we go back to the other one. So there are different things. I am also, as a timekeeper, I can be a knockdown um um a knockdown timekeeper for the referee, if there is not another referee sitting next to me. If there's a knockdown ref sitting next to me, then I don't have to worry about that. But if there's not, if the opponent goes down, then I don't care if it's a grace of the glove. If his gloves touch, I have to start my count. One, two, and until the referee picks it up for me, I stop. Then he continues. If he waves it off and calls it not a knockdown, then I don't have to worry about that. Then I stop my count. So not only am I there to make sure that the rounds are timed correctly. I have to make sure also that between rest periods, when the round is over, and I use my clappers to signal to the referee that there's 10 seconds out, and then I hit the bell once the time is up. Then my whistle, because that's also one of the things that I have to use, which I use for my rest, for the rest period, the 1 minute rest period that the boxers have. And when it's time for them to get up, the 10 seconds out, I blow my whistle to signal the referee. He's going to come in and call seconds out. And all the corners have to make sure they getting their things together. And once that minute is up, then I'm hitting my bell to make sure the fighter starts again. So, I have many jobs as a timekeeper, but the main thing is just making sure that I am in sync with the referee, and I'm also in sync with the announcer. That's announcing because they have their niche on what they do. You know, for instance, you may have I had the opportunity to sit in front of the Jimmy Lennon Jr. And he has the thing where he points and you hit the bell. I haven't had the opportunity of sitting in front of was Diamante because I like how he David Diamante. I hope I'm not messing his name up, but I watch the fights and I listen to him, and I know if I'm ever in front of him as a timekeeper, he says the boxer's name twice. So I would not hit my bell after the first time. I will wait after the second time and hit my bell. Those are things that you need to know. Those are little things that you need to know about the announcers, and you pick them up along the way. You know what I mean? I introduce myself. I make sure, hey, how you doing? I'm the timekeeper for the night. How would you like things done? It's all about making the show run good. That's what it's about.
Oh, you know what? Very, very, very eloquently stated. Everything you said, Alice, because those are the questions I was basically going to ask you leading up to where we are now. And you just basically encompassed all of it in one segment. So I'm excited about that. And before I have you identify some of the equipment and tools that you use, because you've identified them by words, I have a picture of them. I wanted to make sure the fans and the audience is up to speed. So during a bout, 10 seconds, this is to reiterate everything you said. 10 seconds prior to the round ending, you use the clappers, right?
Correct.
That's the noise that we hear to basically let the referee know and the fighters really and the corner really that
Correct.
in 10 more seconds this round is about to end.
Correct.
Also, when they're resting, the 1 minute rest period that they have, right?
Yes.
10 seconds prior to them actually going out of the corner to enter into the ring, in the middle of the ring, rather, without the corner men and the cut men or women in the corner, and they're definitely in the field of play.
Hmm.
There's a whistle that you blow
Yes.
to let the referee know. And the referee comes out of the corner as well. You know,
Correct.
there are so many things that's happening that the casual and even some hardcore boxing fans don't understand the elements involved. When an event or when a boxing match or a bout is actually occurring, when you're hearing certain clappers and whistles and signals from the referee, and then the ring announcer who will signal you, the timekeeper, to ring the bell before the bout start when they're
Correct.
introducing fighters, and then after the bout is completed when they're announcing the winner, right?
Yes.
All of these nuances, most boxing fans have no clue that these are things that are actually happening. And as you and I both know, without a timekeeper, there cannot be not even one bout. Correct?
Not one.
Not even one bout. You
Mm-mm.
also mentioned your responsibility when there is a knockdown. When a fighter gets knocked down, the referee must do his or her job by making sure that the fighter who created that knockdown go into the neutral corner, right?
Yes,
But then right after that, the referee usually look at you, the timekeeper, and or a referee that's sitting right next to you to
correct.
pick up the count. Correct?
Yes,
Right. So you mentioned that, and I just wanted to reiterate that for those that are just joining us live, people that are just coming into the live, people that are going to watch the replay of this live. I just wanted to make sure that they understand everything that you said in segments so we all can be on the same page. On your screen, Alice, there is a picture of your bell. This is your bell. This is your equipment. This is your tools. Can you identify some of these tools so the fans and the audience can understand exactly what you mean by the clapper, the hammer, the bell, etc.?
definitely. So that's Annabelle. That's who she is. That's my Belle's name. And um, Annabelle um, was made for me by two of my great officials. They're like the same as you. We all family. Joe Devone and Rob Rupnitz. Without them, I would not have Annabelle. Um, Sitting on Annabelle are my two stopwatches. Sitting next to the bell up front, that's the hammer. Sitting right next to it on the right side, maybe your left, depending on how you're looking at it, are my clappers. And on top of my clappers is my whistle. Right next to that pink pad right there, when the fighter get knocked down or if the fighter stopped for any reason, that is my board that I write the time on, that the stopwatches, that the time is on. Um, and I hold it up for the commissioner to see. I hold it up for the referee to see. Um, and those are that my glasses that I have on now, and my bout sheet is in the front. So those are my tools that I use every day, every time. I'm at an event.
Awesome, awesome. Very, very well stated, Alice. And um, I think that when people finish watching this live and this broadcast, they will have a better appreciation for the responsibilities and roles that a timekeeper play in every single bout, from the amateur boxing program all the way to the professional rankings, because I believe that timekeeping can be a very thankless and overlooked job because nobody really talks to the timekeeper. No one
Right,
interviews the timekeeper after a fight. No one interviews the timekeeper before the fight. No one is watching to hear a bell sound,
right.
how the bell sound. Um, you know, they're the when there's a live broadcast on TV, they show the time on the
Yes,
screen, and,
yes.
and usually that time is in coordination with the stopwatch and the timers that you, a timekeeper, have, and it's always
Sometimes,
sometime.
sometimes, Marty, sometimes.
So speak to that. How
So
how
when
can
what I
that?
mean by sometimes is
Yes.
when you work like showtime events or show by, sometimes they have their own clock because it's shown on TV. So I would have to use their clock. Um because of, they want to coincide the right time, for the viewers to see, instead of me using my stopwatch. So, that's also something else that, and it feels kind of weird because you're used to having it in your hand instead of just pressing the button, but I mean, that's also that's what you call another part of a tool for you that you put in to learn. So now anywhere you go, you know how to do it. So that's something that I appreciate also learning, doing those type of shows.
Awesome. Let me salute my guy, my day oneer. He contributed to the channel. Thank you so much, Carl Brown, for contributing to this channel as always. And Carl says, respect to you and all the real ones in the chat. So salute to you, Carl Brown, for your comment and contributing to the actual channel. Um, uh, Alice, let me tell you something. You know this better than I do when it comes to timekeeping, right? When you are organized, are there times where you can possibly be distracted while you're watching the time, action is happening in the ring, but you're watching the time, and I mean, fighters might be banging it out, and the audience, the crowd is roaring. Oh, what a knockdown! Oh my gosh! And they're roaring, and you're looking at the clock, and you have to make sure that you're cognizant of the time and not get distracted by the action in the ring. How difficult is that to stay focused on the time when real live action is actually happening inside the ring?
Well, that's difficult as a boxing fan, and that's what I am. I'm a boxing fan. You know what I mean? Because I could get caught up in watching a fight, but that's the thing about a timekeeper, where is the main thing is you have to stay focused. I cannot, if I am not focused, it may, and now my clock is running over 3 minutes, or that may be detrimental to the boxer in the ring, and that's not something that I want to do. Maybe, if I stop it too soon, or if you just have to be focused because you also can contribute to how the outcome of the match goes if you're not doing the timekeeping correctly. So you have to stay focused. You cannot, the corner, you can't 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, sometimes those things can, try to throw you off, but you have to be diligent in how you're doing your job and what you're doing.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm sure you remember this picture at a different
I
box.
do.
You remember, Alice, you know this is not an interview. We just having a conversation like
I
family.
know. I know.
So, you know this was the time. You know I had my security detail with me. You know I had
Yes.
to walk around with the security detail. You know
Yes.
everybody was looking at me like, who this guy is? Who is he? Yeah, sometimes you got to have security sometimes. You
Yes,
know,
yes, sometimes you do.
when you make it, you just got to make sure that you got the detail with you. But I
Yes.
love your reaction because we family. You've been at hundreds of events with me, and that was like the first time that I started to, use security detail with me, and you was looking like, because you know how it is. But let me
Yeah.
say something about that if I can. Do you know what started me to get security detail?
Tell me.
So we were at this fight right here together,
Yes.
and I don't know if you recall this. Um, there was a guy who walked right up on me. You remember that? You probably don't
Yes.
recall it. It was a while ago.
Yes.
He walked up on me, and it wasn't negative. It wasn't negative. He didn't walk up on me in a derogatory way. It
Hmm.
was just that he walked up on me. He recognized me from my childhood, and
Right.
I didn't recall who he was, but he walked up on me, and he was just saying, "Oh man, I haven't seen you in 15 years or 20 years or something like that." And he said, "Oh, it's so good to see you, man." But right after we busted up, we chopped it up. He's a good guy, and he actually was doing security detail for another fighter that was competing that night. And after we busted up, I realized something. I realized that even though I wasn't on YouTube or nothing yet, but I'm still managing fighters, And of course,
Right.
I wear my suits most of the time, and people
Mhm.
naturally assumed that I was a promoter instead of being a manager. And so people would just walk up on me. You know, they want to talk to me. They want to give me their business card. They just want to communicate with me.
Right.
And I realized, like, hold on for a minute. I'm sitting next to Alice. We having a great conversation. I'm watching my fighter in the ring compete that I'm managing. And it's like, you know what? People just walk up on you sometimes. And so from then on, I realized it might be best, if I don't get distracted from what I need to be paying attention to, in the ring when people
Right.
just walk up on me. And so
Right.
that's the whole premise of the security detail. And I remember the look on your face in another event. And when you saw that big dude there, you like, oh yeah, my boy made it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I see him. Oh yeah, I see him. I see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about something else. Speaking of males, obviously we know this. Boxing is a male-dominated sport overall.
Mhm. Mhm.
Are there any challenges being a woman actively involved in a male-dominated sport, even as a timekeeper?
Um, I not really as a not as a timekeeper because you know pretty much I have Marty been doing this since 2015. So 2015 I started USA Boxing. Okay. 2017 I started pro. Okay. All right. Um and 2019 I started pro in PA. Okay. 2019 I started pro in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you look at the time frames of the two, like it's not really, not even 3 years, 2 years within the time frame. Um, there haven't been challenges for me. I get an event, I go. Um, on this end as a woman, as a timekeeper, it's just not a lot of us. You know what I mean? It's pretty much about I think a woman liking the sport and wanting to be up close and personal because this is not a job for me. This is my hobby. This is something that I love to do, but I'm representing myself and I'm representing each commission that I'm working for. USA Boxing, whoever it is, I'm holding them on my back. So I'm going to do a great job doing that. But as a woman and as a female timekeeper, I wouldn't say there are too many challenges. The only thing that I would say as a timekeeper that I would like um, is a little like when I look up box rec has the judges, the referees, the supervisors, the cornermen, just like everybody except for the timekeeper. And I feel like that's a great resume for us to keep, of the events that we do. Because say like if you was someone that wanted me to do a timekeeper and you wanted to look to see what experience I have, except for the stuff that I'm telling you, that's a resume. You can go and be like, oh wow, she did this fight. Oh wow, she did that fight. That would be one of the things that I would like to be able to do. I don't know how, but if anybody's listening, Alice wants to be on Box Rec. So that's one of the things. But as far as challenges, I think I've actually been, blessed to be doing what I'm doing in the time frame that I'm doing it. I wouldn't change anything. I'm humble. It's almost like I'm living a dream actually doing what I'm doing. You couldn't have told me that I would be doing this right. You couldn't have told me that I would already at this time have under my belt doing a championship and with a bout. And this was my first championship bout. This was it right here. This was my first one. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is something like January 22nd, my first that I time kept, So again, yes, those yes, that I time kept, those are just things that those memories right there that you see, they are very special and dear to my heart. um, I remember this one here, the Julia, and I gotta get out of here too because my daughter is looking at me. We get ready to go see Creed in a few minutes. We get ready to go see Creed in a few minutes. But I just want to talk about this one right here. Do you remember this one? You're not gonna leave. Don't leave. Okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. You remember this one real quick? She get
Yeah,
ready
I
to
was.
leave me. She get ready to leave me. You remember
Don't
this one?
leave. Don't leave. One more question. Yes, I remember that fight. I was not there. That was in Philly. I was out of
Yes.
town, and I was supposed to go to that fight, and I was out of town, and I couldn't make it. Yes, I remember that fight. Absolutely.
Yes, that was the Lear. That was at the Lear Course
Yes.
Center. And when I say the atmosphere and the environment that night, because we love some J Rock, still love him, but you could just feel the room, just when that happened. When unfortunately he lost that. But go ahead, ask your question before she try to leave me. Hurry up.
All right. Hold on. Before I go, one more question, and well, actually, really two. So let me clarify something real quick. So you are certified in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yes,
You are certified and licensed in the state of New Jersey.
correct.
And you are also licensed and certified in the state of New York. I was trying to pull a picture up. I thought I had it here, but I cannot find it. Your
That's
your
fine.
your actual certification and license from the state of New York that you
Yes,
recently
just
publicly
happened.
posted, right? So you are certified and licensed as a timekeeper in multiple states.
I am.
And I just wanted to give you your flowers while you are still here, Alice. We appreciate your contribution to the sport of boxing. For anyone that's joining live, you might have to catch the replay of this so that you can hear everything the great Miss Alice Grady said as a professional licensed timekeeper in the sport of boxing. One more question, and I promise I will let you go. Alice, there's the 10 count bell sound where the ring announcer usually announces that the timekeeper is going to um, hit the bell 10 times to acknowledge fallen soldiers, those of us that passed, those that made a contribution in the sport of boxing that has, bereaved us. Can you tell us a little bit about the 10 count? And then I'll let you go.
The 10 count, and it's not seconds. Again, it is a count. So the 10 count, when the fighter gets knocked down, that's the one two that I have to that the referee is looking at me that he's going to pick up. That's the 10 count. So if a fighter gets knocked down and the referee, like you said, put him to his
Neutral
the
corner.
corner,
Yeah.
the corner.
Yeah, neutral corner. Yeah,
Because I'm,
yeah.
I'm on mine. I'm trying to throw this off. So they're going to look at me and or the referee, and I'm going to start it. I'm 1, 2. I gotta say it loud. I gotta have my fingers up in the air, okay? Because they need to know where they need to pick up at. If they're going to wave it off or if they're going to continue it, they need to know that's their job. But I'm there to assist them in the count, whichever way it goes. So that is my job to do that part.
Okay, and then hitting the bell 10 times when the ring announcers say, "Hey, somebody who made a contribution in the sport of boxing, they're no longer with us. They died." They usually have the timekeeper hit the bell 10 times. I just wanted to confirm that with you.
Oh, you're talking about the excuse me for 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Marty. Hold on one
Okay.
second. Hold on 1 second.
But for those of you who are watching us live, we have a professional, certified, and licensed boxing timekeeper here with us. My dear friend, Miss Alice Grady. She is with us. If you missed the entire live broadcast of our dialogue and interview, please watch the replay of this. We've
Yes,
learned some
please,
great
guys.
things. We have learned some great things that some of us did not even know about the importance of timekeeping. Yes, Alice, if you're back, hitting the bell 10 times to
Yes,
acknowledge
you're
those that,
talking about a hitting the belt in time. So you're
yes,
talking about paying homage to all of the fallen boxers.
yes.
That is something I hold very dear to my heart. That is something, the 10 bell count. That is something that I have I've had an opportunity at an event. They did it for Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? So again, that's where that sound comes in that. That's where you want to make sure you're on point with it because you paying homage to the fallen boxers in the ring. And that's something that, you do not want to mess up. So, yes, that 10 bell count is very dear, is very special. It's something the timekeeper prides dear. I know I pride myself when I have to do it. And I just like to make sure that it's done correctly.
Awesome. Alice, I promise you, I told you this was not going to be as hard as you thought it was. How did you feel after all of the questions? How do you feel right now?
I'm all right.
Good. Any final words to the audience before you go? Any final words, real quick?
Hey, listen, if boxing is your thing and you want to get involved, start with USA Boxing. It's an experience. If you love the sport, come on down and me and Marty will help you out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Alice, tell your daughter I said hello. You all enjoy your evening, and I look forward to talking to you sometime over the weekend.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're
Bye.
so welcome. Thank you so
All
much for
right.
your time. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Rule to Take Film crew, I know that time has eluded a little bit, but I wanted to make sure we get all the knowledge that you all came here for, and we're going to get right into the business of boxing because we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with Stephen Espinoza. You've seen a video that I published on my channel just, I believe it was yesterday, just yesterday. And of course, it's all over social media. It's all over the YouTube boxing community at this point, where Stephen Espinoza threw some facts out there about Showtime not going out of business, which we've been hearing from other content creators and YouTubers, and even some people in the national mass media were throwing shots at Stephen Espinoza and Showtime, and I'm not having the budget, and I'm not having the fiduciaries to be able to put on live events and pay-per-views, etc. People were saying all kind of stuff that PBC and Showtime was going broke, and the merger meant that boxing was not going to be a part of our lives, being broadcasted live, being streamed anywhere else um, on Showtime. But he clarified all of that, and let's get into talking about that whole ordeal because there's an elephant in the room now because there were some content creators and YouTubers who were actually wrong. And there were other people who were wrong too. Before I do that, I wanted to acknowledge Mr. Moet. He is a day oneer on this channel, and he asked me a question, and I wanted to make sure I answer his question because somebody else might want to know the answer to this question. Mr. Moet says, Manager Marty, what is happening immediately after a round ends when the ref gathers paper slips from what appears to be the judges? Mr. Moet, thank you, for this question, and I wanted to make sure I answered it because I think it's very relevant to educational purposes. So what's actually happening is this, Mr. Moet. When the round is complete, and both fighters are in their respective corners, the referee will physically walk over to the direction of each of the three judges, and that referee will basically collect the scorecards that each judge completed for that particular round. And then after the referee collects all three of the judges' scorecards, the completed scorecards for that particular round, the referee usually hands the completed scorecards to the supervisor of the actual commission so that they can then go into their database and insert the information as far as who won that round. And then, of course, they will tally it up after the end of whether it be 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, or 12 rounds. And that's how the total number is read by the ring announcer at the end of each bout. So that is a very good question. Matthew Thomas, another day oneer on the channel. Thank you so much for your contribution, Matthew Thomas. And he says, my God, Mr. Roll the Tape himself, these last months have been very informative, and thanks for leading the way. Thank you, Mr. Matthew Thomas, for your contribution to the channel. And yes, hey, I've been on YouTube now for what, like 5 months consecutively? And I feel so proud to announce that I've been on YouTube for 5 months now, and I think I have over a little over 4,000 subscribers now. So salute to all of you who basically, make this happen for me to be able to educate you all and get the word out that everybody needs to be educated when it comes to the sport of boxing and what happens. Uh, Live from Nigeria, music and boxing. I salute you all the way from Nigeria, watching us live in living color. All of my subscribers and viewers from the UK, from the Philippines, I salute all of you that are watching outside of the States. Carl Brown, thank you again for your contribution again. What if they fall out the ring? Very good question, Carl Brown. If the fighter falls out the ring, it depends on what state that they're in because the commissions have different rules. But generally speaking, if a fighter falls outside of the ring, uh, the timekeeper will start the second stopwatch. And I do believe in most states they have 5 minutes. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 5 minutes. I know in the amateurs there's a different amount of time, but I think it's a minimum. I think it's like 5 minutes to be able to see if they can get back into the ring and compete. And if they cannot, then the bout will be called to a halt. But we had the timekeeper on here, Carl Brown, and I wish I would have thought about that myself because I would have had Alice, clarify that because I am not an expert. So please, if I made a mistake on that, I apologize in advance. Salute to everybody in the chat. Mr. Aaron Muhammad, I see you, brother. Salute to you. So let's get back to real quick. Let's get back to WCS. I see you in the chat. World Combat Sports. I see you, brother. Let's get back to not Adrian Broner. We're gonna get to him. Steven Espinoza. A lot of content creators were saying that PBC is going out of business. Showtime was going out of business. Steven Espinoza basically clarified all of that, and he basically said that PBC is still here, and not just PBC. Really, he was more so talking about Showtime. But we already know that, Showtime and PBC, they have a contractual agreement, and so Showtime is here to stay, even with the merge with Paramount, and we're just excited that we're going to have live boxing. Did you all see the new schedule? I'm sure all of you have. Did y'all see the new schedule that was posted by Showtime from March the 4th all the way to, I believe, June 24th? So all of the schedule is out starting tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening, Brandon Figueroa is back. He's fighting tomorrow evening. The return of Jarrett Hurd. He's fighting tomorrow evening on Showtime. And we just got boxing, you know. And then, of course, we got Tony Harrison and Tim Tszyu. Then we got, at the end of the month, we have Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez on pay-per-view. Man, we got some good boxing coming up. April, of course, Ryan Garcia against Tank. Man, I meant to take the picture, you all, to be able to post it so we can see the schedule together. So I apologize for running behind schedule on that. But I'm sure everybody on here, at least most of you, you already saw the schedule already. And we've had some great boxing coming up in the next 6 months. This is awesome. You know, even 4 or 5 months. Let's just say 4 months. But I wanted to speak to something. Speaking of YouTubers and content creators, the ones that said PBC was going out of business, said that Showtime was going out of business, I'm going to need you to go back on your channels now. And after you heard Steven Espinoza say what he said, I'm going to need y'all to go back on your channels with integrity now and educate the public and tell them the truth, okay? And tell them that you're apologetic and you sorry for putting out that false narrative now because you didn't have the right information to put that out there that Showtime was done and PBC was done. So I encourage any content creator or YouTuber that put that out there, you know what I mean? Go back on your channel and make it right with the people. Make it right with the viewership. Make it right with your subscribers. Make it right with the fans of boxing, okay? And let them know you made a mistake. That's all. That's all it is. You know, we got to do what's righteous when it comes to this sport because there's a lot of content creators that's putting out false narratives, and putting out false information. And then, you know, what happens is the viewership and the fans and subscribers, they look at people like myself and other content creators who do a good job with putting the truth out there and kind of make us look like we don't know what we're, you know, talking about. So, you know, that's my, hey, from Iowa, Shawnee D, salute to you in the chat, all the way from Iowa. We got people all across the country watching this channel and supporting this channel and viewing this channel and learning. And see, I'm always say it. If you learn at least one thing from my published content, whether it be live or whether it just be a piece of content that I publish through video, I'm satisfied. If you, it only take one person to just learn one thing, I'm satisfied. All right. I'm going to put the link in the chat because I know some people want to come on. I don't know how to pin the link to the top because I'm using my cell phone, but I promise you all when I get my laptop, I'm going to I left my laptop in the room and I don't want to get up and get it because I was running late on the broadcast, as you see. I'm going to actually, like, on Tuesday night, I'll try to make sure I have my laptop so I can be able to pin the chat, pin the link to the top of the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that link in. You know how we do. Yeah, but moving right along now. Moving right along. Um, so that's all I wanted to say because you know, Steven Espinoza, he already put it out there. He put it out there already. You know, I put it out there yesterday on published content, so I don't really have to, you know, beat a dead horse. Byron Bradley, another day Warner, salute to you. I see you in the chat. Yeah. So let's do this. You're right, Aaron Muhammad. I totally agree with that. So let's do this since we got that out the way real quick, right? We got that elephant in the room. We got that elephant in the room. I see you all. Viewership is increasing exponentially. I thank you for your viewership. I welcome you. I welcome you. Those that are watching a replay of this live, I welcome you. If you want to send a cash app to contribute to the channel, the cash app is at the bottom of your screen. And I want to acknowledge a cash app that I received from Justin, I think Jay Reddy. Yep, my God, Jay Reddy. Thank you for your contribution in the Cash App, Jay Reddy. I think in the last broadcast, Incel donated again in Cash App. Right, I saw it when we was getting off of the broadcast on Tuesday evening. So thank you again, Incel, for your contribution. And so we're going to address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Adrian Broner real quick because I wanted to share some things about the history of Adrian Broner, and it's so amazing how when you have right representation around you, and when you perform well in the ring, great things happen for you in the sport of boxing. Right? Let me take these off because I want to make sure that everybody see my face. You know, I don't mind if other people, show the avatar and everything, but I want to make sure I show my face. Um, Not all the time, but most of the time when y'all come to see me live, I want to make sure that we all family, so we all get to see each other, right? Well, y'all get to see me, but I get to see y'all in the chat though. I get to see y'all when you contribute to the channel. Now, isn't this crazy and amazing how Tank Davis just was fighting on Adrian Broner's undercard when Adrian Broner fought Jesse Vargas back in 2018, right? And Tank Davis, he's been fighting on several people's undercards. I think he was on the Charlo's undercard one time. He was on Broner's undercard, I think, a couple times. And of course, y'all know he was on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather's when Floyd fought uh, 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 um, Conor McGregor, right? And look at where Tank is now, and look at where Adrian Broner is now. I just was thinking about that like earlier this week. Like, wow, it's crazy how Tank Davis was on the undercard of Adrian Broner just in 2018, and then here it is 5 years later. He's a star. He's a pay-per-view star, and right now Adrian Broner, can't even get a fight or find a home as far as um, live streaming, broadcasting, and or promotions. And I just, things happen. And so what we got to learn is this in the sport of boxing. The sport of boxing parallels life. Sports in general, football, basketball, um, baseball, all sports in general, parallels life, right? And so, if you're a subscriber, if you're a returning viewer, I always try to sneak a principle in there. I always try to sneak a principle in every live that I do and publish content. If you notice, that's why some people in the chat for the last few weeks have been calling me the preacher of boxing. I always try to stick a stick a principle in there so everybody, boxers, athletes, you all viewers, anybody can identify and relate to the principles that I put in my content. Now, I want to say this: sports, right, parallels life. And I have this saying, and most of you that know me personally have heard me say this saying: the person who makes the adjustment in life wins. The fighter who makes the adjustment inside the ring wins. The fighter who makes the adjustment outside of the ring wins. The team that makes the adjustment inside the game wins. The team that makes the adjustment after the resting period or halftime wins the game. What does that have to do with the elephant in the room? Everything. Because Adrian Broner, unfortunately, did not make the proper adjustments outside the ring that's causing him to be in the position and situation that he is in today. And that's unfortunate, but that's the realities of it. That's the realities of what's happening right now. And I'm actually excited to announce that Adrian Broner looked like he was actually in shape this fight. He looked like he was actually, facing his demons, avoiding those pitfalls that plagued his career with, the things that he openly admitted publicly about his alcoholism, his indulging or overindulging, partying, etc., um, and things of that nature. It looked like he was refocused, and I'm really glad to hear that. It's all about making adjustments in life, because I said this on a live probably either Tuesday or last Friday. Adrian Broner had all the tools around him for success. He had Al Heyman, he had Floyd Mayweather, he had good management around him. He had Kevin Cunningham, who really cared about him and stayed on top of him, right? Was holding him accountable. He had like a great team around him. So to be able to be in the situation that he's in, it is kind of unfortunate, especially when he's refocused and dedicating himself, to training again to be able to win, not just inside the ring, but outside the ring and even in life. Aaron H. Muhammad, my guy, another day one supporter of the channel. Thank you for your contribution, Aaron. And Aaron says this: I have to support your channel and your work, Manager Marty. You are an asset to the boxing community, the fans, and the fighters. Thank you so much for your encouragement, Aaron. I really, really appreciate you. And I hope you all, take Aaron's words um, as true, because my only objective on YouTube is to be an asset in the boxing community. We have my guy. Y'all know I got to stop the show. We're going to talk about Adrian Broner some more, and we're going to talk about Terrence Crawford too. But before we get into that, I got my bull coming on, and we're going to see what's up with him when he come on. Hey, D-Town, where you at, baby? My brother.
What's up?
Talk to me, D-Town Boxing. What's going on with you this evening, man?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
Oh, man, I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm doing even better. Now I got you here because you helped me close out the show last Tuesday, brother.
Oh yeah, I was just sitting there listening to you and your guests. Educate the people. That's one of the main things people need in this world. Not just the sport of boxing, but at anything, we need to be educated so we can understand, how to make the right decisions or whatever kind of decision we make in our life. If we understand what's right and what's wrong, then we know how to take the next step.
Absolutely. And before you continue, detail, I have to give a shout out to somebody just donated to the Cash App. Um, uh, it says, from Shiny D, fam, keep up the great content. Thank you so much, Shiny D. Salute to you. Thank you for your contribution in the Cash App. Thank you so much, Shiny. Go ahead, my brother D-Town. You can go ahead and hey D-Town. I got a new line now. We don't cook no more on the channel. We air fry on the channel now. We air fry with the truth on this channel.
That's
Hey
all we
man,
know.
hey, I saw your video earlier today. No, not. It was yesterday. Yesterday when you did the I think you talked about Showtime and PBC. Can you talk to the audience about that? Everybody saying they was going broke. Showtime ain't gonna have no more boxing. Blasey, blasey, blasey. Can you reiterate some of those points you were saying on your channel, bro?
The thing is that people hope the best for the PBC and the PBC fighters. People don't realize that a lot of people have hate against Al Haymon, the PBC, and the fighters actually for no reason. I mean, they actually don't even have a real reason why they have hate in their heart or envy or strife against the PBC or Al Haymon, which is Al Haymon. People haven't even seen Al Haymon or heard of him. Now, you have all these other promoters, which is Bob Arum, Eddie Hearns, and Oscar De La Hoya. You see these promoters. These promoters lies to the fans. They say all kind of things. Not saying that everything they say is bad, but what I'm saying is these are the promoters we see. But people don't say too much about them. But when you have an advisor slash promoter slash everything else that Al Haymon has, far as helping and far as the things that he have, far as his career and what he needs to do his job, you have people that actually hate him for trying to educate the fighters how to be their own boss, how to help them inside of the sport of boxing and help them outside of the sport of boxing. Just like Paul Williams said. Paul Williams is in a wheelchair. He said in an interview that Al Haymon talks to him right today. So it's not just for business, it's also far as outside of the sport of boxing, far as helping them throughout their life. So how can you hate a person like that that's willing to show their fighters and to educate their fighters about the business part of boxing? So all these other promoters have a problem against the PBC when the PBC is there for the fighters. The promoters are there for themselves. Al Haymon is an advisor who works for his fighters. So what I see is that a lot of people wants to see PBC go broke. And you ask them why. They can't give you an answer. The only answer that they have is the answer from another channel who's giving their opinion or how they feel about the PBC or Al Heyman because their favorite fighter do not fight up under Al Heyman, or they get mistreated by their own promoter. So it's really not a reason why. Then you got people that has a problem with the fighters. Why do you have a problem with fighters that's their own boss? Now, a lot of these fighters claim that they their own boss, but they're not. Just like Terrence Crawford. They claim that he is his own boss, but he's running over there, and it might be a possibility that he might end up signing with Oscar De La Hoya. So how can you be your own boss if you're looking for promoters to be your boss? So I'm not understanding why people have a problem with the PBC, why they have a problem with the PBC fighters. They're not going out of business. I have not seen anything that tells me that the PBC is going out of business. Matter of fact, they putting on more fights than any other promotional company. I mean, how many fights have you seen from Oscar De La Hoya besides Oscar De La Hoya running his mouth in the media? How many fights have you seen from Top Rank besides some of these Top Rank fighters out here saying certain things or whatever? How many fighters have you seen or fights have you seen from Eddie Hearns besides Eddie Hearns talking about other fighters? Now, I'm not saying that they have not put on any fights. What I'm saying is if you lined up how many fights that the PBC put on and how many fights that they put on, PBC put on more fights than all three of them put together.
Facts.
So if the PBC is going out of business, according to their narrative, then you got Top Rank, Golden Boy Promotion, and the Zone. They already packed up and been gone a long time ago.
Yep. And the even more egregious thing about it, you have some content creators and YouTubers who's following the mainstream media with the nonsense of saying that, and then if you try to correct it, they say you self-hate because you're black. But I guess they forget Al Heyman is black too.
And the third part about it is they are the ones. That's like accusing me of something that they doing. You know what I'm saying? You know how the devil do. He's the accuser of the brethren.
Yeah.
So you telling me that you in hypocrisy because you saying that I'm against my brothers or against black people, but you the one who was talking about black people. I'm not understanding. It has nothing to do with race. The problem is that we see it as it is. If I see it's a duck, it's a duck. You ain't got to explain to me what a duck look like and what a duck sound like. I can see and I can do my own research. They have the internet. They have phones. They have laptops. They have computers. You can actually go and do your own research instead of listening to these fake channels that's out here pushing fake narratives. And now these people are in their feelings because the fans are fighting back with the truth by listening to my brother, Manager Martin, by listening to Detail Boxing, Boss Hall, The Real Marlowe, Pool Counter Boxing, all these for none, Boxing Ego,
Sports Media.
Yeah, 78 Sports TV. You talking about YSM Sport.
Yep.
You talking about Best Fight the Best,
BFTV.
BFTV, you talking about Trill Boxing Talk. I'm talking about all these people are educating the people and staying on a square no matter how people feel. And you got people today, somebody was in my comments and told me, why do y'all keep talking about Terrence Crawford? If your favorite fighter is supposed to be that guy, why are you talking about Terrence Crawford? I told him, I said, first of all, Terrence Crawford is holding hostage the WBO strap. So if he give up that belt, since he's not willing to fight Earl Spence, if he give up that belt, nobody be talking about Terrence Crawford no more. Nobody. Not me, not nobody else. He'd be another American. Now, I'm not saying that he's trash like American. What I'm saying is he don't sell himself like he's supposed to. And running over there to Oscar De La Hoya, if that's what he's going to do, Oscar De La Hoya already let it be known that when he heard that it was a possibility that Crawford had got $10 million to fight David Avenisia, which I don't believe it, but he said, who would give him $10 million? He said, I don't see how he got that. So if Terrence Crawford believe that he's going to sign with Golden Boy Promotion and think he's going to get $10 million to fight some no name. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
It's definitely not going to happen. And speaking of Crawford fighting David Evanesian, let me take my glasses off detail because I'm still waiting for the information on this. And I dare anybody to send a link to Blue Blood and whoever else, because this is not a challenge to them. But I just want to ask the question: what are the numbers of Terrence Crawford versus David Evanesian? I've been asking for about 50 days now and still haven't gotten the numbers. I just want to know the numbers because if his numbers were so good on BLK Prime, he can use that as leverage to negotiate the fight with Spence. But if we don't have the information, or if they didn't do good, this goes to prove that even going over to De La Hoya, he ain't going to get the money he thinks he's going to get even over there. So I need somebody to tell me, because I don't know what the secret is about at this point. What are the streaming numbers that BLK Prime did for David Evanesian and Terrence Crawford? Somebody said 5,000 downloads. I need evidence of that. I don't know if it was 5,000 or not. I'm just saying, what's the nobody's speaking on it? Why is this being swept under the rug when on other channels people were able to get Broner on the channel real quick? Now all of a sudden, Broner talking about he ain't with BLK Prime. Now I'm saying people can't get him on the channel no more. I'm confused. We talking about the elephant in the room, detail boxing. I'm
I'm
confused.
gonna tell you something, brother. It's funny how we can always find everybody else money amount, but we can't never find. There go my dog right there. I see him all the time roasting people on those other channels. I hear him roasting on them boys. Hey, I'm glad he here because I know he got something to say. But I'm gonna tell you like this: every time you have these haters coming out in the comments or out on different channels talking about how much Earl Spence make and how much all these guys make, and they don't even know because first of all, the pay-per-view numbers, they can barely even get the pay-per-views right. And if they really want to know, you can add up how much it costs for every pay-per-view and how many pay-per-views to determine the percentage that Earl Spence is supposed to get and determine how much money he's supposed to get. But they don't want to do none of that. Now it's a secret about Crawford pay-per-view numbers and how much he got paid. I'm still waiting on somebody to show me proof that Crawford got paid $10 million.
I guarantee you he didn't get 10. I guarantee you that. I ain't in his pockets. I'm just saying we have to tell the truth when we report things. You know what I mean? You know, Ricky Williams, this is my first time encountering you, brother. I thank you for wanting to be on the channel. You know, I'm gonna let you air fry, bro. So welcome.
What's happening, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. How you, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. Happy weekend. Y'all made it through another one. You know what I'm saying? Happy Friday, fellas.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, same here.
Before I even get talking, I want to let y'all know I watch both of y'all work, man. Y'all do great work, man. Straight up and down, honest reporting on the sport, man. But I've been thinking about this, man. I know you ain't never bumped into me, Imagine and Marty, but I've been calling Bud a duck for the last 3.5 years, bro. Right? And this is really I don't rock with the dude because he could be great, but we'll never know. It's like the lollipop commercial. The owl, we'll never know how great he is because he'll never fight anybody. And I peep everything, right? And I'm gonna give y'all the straight up honest my straight up honest opinion about Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford is the haters' Floyd Mayweather. Y'all see how Bud Crawford is the exact fighter they accuse Floyd Mayweather of being? Floyd cherry pick, no competition. He don't fight nobody. But when Floyd cherry pick facts, we can't tell a lie. He had the power to cherry pick, just like Canelo. But he fought Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. Roy Jones, James Toney, all those supposedly legends in the sport. Bud Crawford, they ride with him because he's the exact same fighter they accuse Floyd Mayweather of being. You don't go look, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Manager Marty. Look, let's give it to him. D-Town, let's give it to him. Let's say for the last 5 years, Errol been ducking Bud. Let's say it. Yeah. He set up the perfect circumstance so he didn't have to fight Bud. You finally got him in a corner, Bud. You finally had him. You had him. He had nowhere else to go. He sent you a contract and you didn't sign it. Guys, if this is not ducking in boxing, no one ever ducked. Riddick Bowe didn't duck Lennox Lewis. If this is not ducking, bruh. Jaime Munguia never ducked anybody. If this is not ducking. I keep telling y'all, Bud is Kang the Conqueror in boxing. You know what Kang the Conqueror do in Marvel? He messes with the timelines. He destroys the schedules. This fall was the one time, and tell me if I'm lying, D-Town, when this fight was happening, wasn't they already saying, before, when they were saying the fight was supposed to happen back in the fall, right? Wasn't they already saying that Errol Spence got this mandatory and this mandatory and this mandatory?
Yeah, they were saying all kind of things.
Right? We got to make this fight because he going to have a mandatory coming up this year. Bud Crawford, there's not enough money. You can pay Bud Crawford to fight Errol Spence, guys. Y'all might as well get over it. You might as well get over it. This fight is never happening. We'll see this fight on Triller Point 2.0. That's when we'll see this fight. When it no longer matters. When it no longer counts. Bud does not want to fight that man. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care how y'all try to look at it. Everything this man do is the opposite of trying to get in the ring with Errol Spence.
Yep.
That's facts, man. That's facts. We got to call a spade up and down. That's facts. You know, the thing about it is this, and I've been in this business for years now, and I told people this, and I'll say it live right now because we're talking about the elephant in the room. When two fighters want to fight in this business, they fight. And I dare anybody to challenge me when I say that. But when two fighters, one or both, don't want to fight, believe me, they don't fight because it's too much money on the table for Crawford and Spence not to fight. So now that we clarify, it's not the money, because everybody know. Even if somebody tell me, Manager Marty, here go the receipts, he made $10 million when he fought David Ebenezer. We all know that he will make way more, over double that fighting Spence. Yep. So we can't say it's the money. We can't say, well, you know, he had a mandatory. Everything was lined up perfectly. Let me tell everybody this, because I think people might have forgot this when I said this on YSM back in, I might have said this in July of 2022. I was at the fight, Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. I was sitting ringside. I didn't have any, what they call it, horse in the race or whatever. I wasn't managing no fighters at that event. I was just there as a fan. I was there ringside. Crawford was sitting on the next section at ringside. When I saw Crawford, I went over to Crawford. I was busted up with Terrence Bud Crawford. This is December 5th of 2020, I believe, when Spence fought Garcia. I looked Bud Crawford in the eye. I said, Bud, I know why you're here. And I was laughing when I said it. I said, you're here because you want to see how Spence looked after that car accident because you want to fight him next. And he smiled and said, yeah, I want to fight him next. I said, so what's holding the fight up, Bud? What's going on? He told me to my face. Now, he might not even remember me, but I got pictures with Bud. I talked to that man. I said, Bud, what's holding it up? Bud Crawford told me to my face that it was Bob Arum Top Rank. He said, Bob Arum Top Rank is holding this fight up. They don't want me to fight Spence. I looked Bud Crawford in the eye. Never told him I was a manager. Never told him how much I knew about the business. I said, looked him in the eye. I said, Bud, if Bob Arum or anybody else is stopping you from feeding your family in this business of how hard it is to get fights, you don't need to re-sign with him when your contract is time to be renegotiated. I told him that. We shook hands. A fan took a picture of me and Bud. Everything was cool. From then on, I was under the impression, because the man told me to my face that it was Bob Arum. So I was under the impression, damn, Bob, I don't know why Bob Arum won't, like that other side of the street thing that everybody been seeing in the media. He's with, Spencer's with Al Heyman and them, and Crawford is with Bob Arum and them. So I was thinking that because I talked to Bud myself. Then what happened was a year later, they announced the Sean Porter fight being his last fight with Top Rank. That made me feel happy as a fan because I was like, that man kept his word. That man is not going to resign with Bob Arum because he do not want Crawford to fight Spence. And then surely afterwards, I started to see that Crawford's words was not matching up with his actions. And that's when I start saying to myself, wait a minute. Well, Bob Arum ain't been around in the last 6 months. What is the problem? And I went right on YSM Sports Media in July. Y'all go back and roll the tape on Manager Marty. Roll the tape on me. I went right on there and he asked me what's stalling. I said it then in July, and here we are in March. I'm saying the same thing. It's Terrence Bud Crawford. And everything that I've placed on my channel, content-wise, have shown evidence and proof. Things that you said on your channel, D-Town Boxing, and everybody else. I didn't see your content, Ricky, but I'm sure the way you talking to me now, I'm sure you pointed out some of the same things or even more things that I pointed out. His words is not matching up with his actions. And anytime I see somebody in their hometown get a post-fight interview, just like Danny Garcia did, just like when Jerry Hurd was fighting and Charlo jumped in the ring after he fought that smaller guy. And he said, yeah, I'm going to fight you next or whatever. My point is, they always ask who's next. And all the fighters that want to fight next, they say, I want such and such next. And especially when they with PBC, it happens next. When Crawford was in Omaha, Nebraska, in front of his 9th grade teacher, his pet friend, his high school friend, his mom, and his kids, they asked that man, is Spence going to be next? And that man was not definitive in his answers, just like normal boxers be definitive in their answers. And that's when I said, man, I really don't believe this fight's going to happen. And that was in December 10th. Here we are in March. And ever since then, Crawford done went on IG Live in November. He's been doing the Twitter fingers behind closed doors, behind the scenes, but his actions has not met up with his words. So I would have to totally agree with you, Ricky. Unfortunately, this fight is not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not, in my personal opinion, bro. As far as the PBC thing, it's weird to me, man. Like, okay, like as boxing as a whole, in my opinion, I did a video back in this early last spring, right? To me, it looks like PBC's trying to corner the boxing market. That's what it looks to me, right? The real takeover would have happened if to me personally, again, it's just my opinion, looking at the way the business is going, seeing how the zone is billions in the hole trying to recoup, right? Top Rank was making moves to get control of the Eastern market, you know what I'm saying, over there in Europe. They was trying to get in there with Matchroom and BT and all that stuff, right? They was trying to get licenses for that over there. The American market was getting cornered by Premier Boxing Champions. And in my humble opinion, if Deontay Wilder would have beat Tyson Fury in a trilogy, it would have really been a takeover. You know what I'm saying? At that point, every hot name would have been at PBC. Besides, the stragglers that people try to keep up, like Lomachenko and T.O., you know what I'm saying? The fighters, the fighters that got a little profile that they try to keep alive. But what's weird to me is this, right? How can y'all not support a black man that's doing business correctly among his own people?
Mm-hmm.
That's just so weird to me, right? In the same breath, y'all say Bob Arum's a crook. He's this, he's that, right? But then when black fighters continue to sign with him, y'all still ride with that type of business, right? And this is what I didn't buy this from the beginning. It's Bob Arum's fault. No, it's not Bob Arum's fault. It's Bud Crawford's fault. Bob Arum represents Bud Crawford.
Facts.
right? This what y'all don't understand, right? If it's somebody coach saying you can't say a fighter's coach don't want him to fight him, that's the fighter. The coach works for the fighter, not the other way around. They team don't want it to happen. That means that fighter doesn't want it to happen, right? And to break down this even further with the Bud Crawford situation with Stephen Espinoza when he had that initial interview, right? Stephen Espinoza told y'all in so many words, the only reason we're trying to make this fight is because Errol wants it, because we have 5 or 6 other fights we see that's bigger than this. The only reason this fight was trying to get made is because Errol wanted it.
Facts.
Errol's their guy. He wanted this fight. Showtime could care less, right? But Errol was pushing the issue. But this is my question to all y'all for what y'all hold on to with Bud Crawford. Would any employee, I'm not going to even say an employee because an employee means they actually work for you and you get a return eventually, correct? Right? An independent contractor could come in and tell you how you spend your money at your business.
Not at all.
Anybody. An independent contractor, you are not guaranteed to work with this man after this one job. But he gonna tell you, I want to be able to authorize and oversee expenses. And you putting up the money. Did you hear what I said? You putting up the money. Not them, you. That's a request that a fighter knows that a promotional company or an event company is not going to take.
Facts.
Let me say it again for y'all in the back. That's a request that a fighter knows a promotional company or an event planner or event maker is not going to make. The best fighter in the world. Pound for pound great. ESPN Fighter of the Year. Undisputed. This man could have been undisputed in 2 weight classes. Name the last fighter that did that in the modern era. Name me a male fighter that did it. The only one y'all can name is Clarissa Shields. That's it. That's it. He never wanted to fight, y'all. He never wanted it. If y'all want to be real about it, I can break it down for you, and I can honestly say, Bud Crawford never out of his mouth said, I want Errol Spence. Send me a contract. He ain't never said it.
He said it was never going to happen. He said that. He did say that.
He never said it. Find me a video. Not, oh, y'all know who I want next. Not somebody bringing up Errol Spence. Not in the ocean talking about where you at, Errol. I'm talking about I want them belts. I want Errol Spence next.
Nope.
That's what y'all be hearing.
Hey, Ricky, he did say he agreed to everything.
Then why we don't have a fight?
Yep.
He lied.
Yep.
You remember Bob Arum even said out of his own mouth that Terrence Crawford never asked for the Errol Spence fight. He said he asked for the money.
He's used to, let me tell you something. Bob Arum Top Rank. I'm on record saying this, and I have evidence of this, and all you have to do is look at Terrence Crawford's resume to see where I'm going with this. Bob Arum and Top Rank are a good promoter, and they did a great job with Terrence Crawford's career. If they didn't, we wouldn't even be talking about that man right now. Because my guy, Brad Goodman, a Hall of Fame matchmaker, put Terrence Crawford in a position over there with Top Rank to be able to fight lower level composition, lower level opposition and competition to get the most dollar. And guess what happened? Bob Ehrman them still lost all that money. They still lost all that money from a promotional standpoint. But from a competition standpoint, he's been fighting C-level, D-level fighters his whole career. If you look at his resume, and I'm not discrediting Jeff Horn, and I'm not discrediting. What I'm trying to show y'all is when you look at how managers, matchmakers, and promoters, this is what we do. We study fighters. I was telling World Combat Sports this, and he can vouch for me. I was teaching them how this go. We study these fighters. When we're doing our homework on these fighters, we want to see how many rounds they've completed in their last fight or two. We want to see, have they ever been past 6 rounds? Have they ever been past 8? Because we got to match them properly. Have they ever been in a situation where they really had to fight against a top-level competition? Because we don't want to get them in there and they get hurt or they get knocked off, because just like it is in the sport of football, football, when you lose one game in the playoffs, your whole season is over. Well, that's how it is when you're building up a prospect in boxing. One loss, they got to get right in the back of the line. It's like their whole season is over. They got to reboot. They got to refocus. They got to generate the interest from the fan base to get back in the ring and get that appeal to basically market them again. So they slowly but surely put them in fights. You want to know why they put him in those fights? Because they knew what his weaknesses are. That's a fact. And that's what managers, matchmakers, and promoters do. We know the fighters that we manage. We know the fighters that we promote. The matchmakers, they study more than both. They know, if I get him in there with this guy, ooh. And look, watch this. You'll see in matchmaking who the A side is. Let me give you an example. This is not a knock on PBC, but I got to keep it 100 now. When Julius J. Rock Williams fought Jamal Charlo, we already knew that Jamal Charlo was A side, correct? When he went to Jerry Hurd's hometown, who was the A side? Up in Maryland. Hurd,
because it was considered an upset when J Rock walked through him.
It was an upset. So guess what had to happen? Because the plan was Hurd gonna beat my guy from Philly, J Rock, and then guess what's supposed to happen next after he beat him? Who was he supposed to unify the belts with? Jamel
Charlo. Yep.
So when J Rock threw a monkey wrench in the game, the business says we got to get him in there with tougher competition, because we're trying to prepare J Rock now. Since he beat her, we got to prepare him to go against Jamel since he won the belts to unify. It just so happened that when he got in front of my hometown in Philly, I wasn't there. I was out of town with another fighter, but in
Banana, got in there with Banana.
And you seen what happened to him. But guess what happened in Banana's first title defense, like J-Rock's first title defense? He was in there with who? The guy who was supposed to fight Hurd.
Mm-hmm.
This is how the business works. So this is why I know Terrence Crawford, he's been slowly. He ain't been in there. J-Rock been in there with Banana. Hurd been in there. Harrison been in there with Charlo. These are Castano. These are hard, real fights.
Yeah.
How come Crawford ain't getting there with no real hard fights? Because they moving him a certain way. Because they know, just like Crawford know. And that's the first time I'm saying this on record. He can't beat Spence. He just can't beat him. I'm looking at skill-wise. I'm not an in-ring performance expert, but just by the eye test and their skill sets and what they do good and what they don't do good. When that body attack coming through on Crawford and Spence start backing him up, might not look good for him. Look at how good, and I know people don't want to hear this because people get mad at me when I say this personally. They get mad, people that I'm cool with, they get mad when I say so. I'm going to keep it 100. Sean Porter did a great job. Even though mentally he was 1 foot in and 1 foot out, he did a great job for somebody who wasn't as dedicated as he was when he fought Spence. When he fought Crawford, woo! A lot of people don't want to hear that because Crawford did a whole lot of holding. He did a whole lot of hugging and rubbing. You know, but my point is, can you imagine Spence pressing Bud like that? I'm just saying. Listen, Bud don't want to fight him. That's just the truth. That's the elephant in the room, y'all. We here now. We got to keep it all the way 100. He don't want to fight Spence because if he did, he wouldn't have ran over there to De La Hoya. He would have signed the contract, and we would have been talking about, did y'all see that fight? They got to run that joint back for a rematch. We ain't even talking about a rematch. He never signed the contract. Going over there to De La Hoya is a blatant role in basically moving Spence out the way. De La Hoya came out himself. Now, if I was promoting, I would have shut my mouth. I wouldn't have said Rocha first, then Ortiz. I wouldn't have said nothing. Because look at what Bernard Hopkins said on that other guys. I don't know those guys. If y'all know their name, y'all can tell me in the chat and everything. Those guys did an interview with Bernard where he was talking about Devin Haney's dad. Did y'all see that?
I ain't see it.
Bernard Hopkins said, as a fan, because they asked him about that. Because they asked him about, like, if y'all sign Crawford, will y'all go ahead and press for the Spence fight? And Bernard Hopkins said, as a fan, I would want to see Spence fight a tune-up and then Crawford fight a tune-up in the first fight, and then them two come together as a fan. But he never gave his perspective as a promoter, because that's what I was listening for. Yeah, I don't want you to talk to me as a fan, Bernard. I want you to talk to me as a promoter so I can hear what y'all goals are. And what I hear is the words that he didn't say. The same thing De La Hoya said. It's going to be Rocha first, then it's going to be Virgil Ortiz, and maybe in the future, Spence. Y'all already know that y'all going to make him sign a 2-fight deal to fight them two guys, and then he going to run off in the sunset. That we already see that's what's going to happen. At least that's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. Because running over there to them, that's not going to get you to fight. That's not get you to fight with Spence. So what that tells me is you want to hook up with people that's not going to press like BLK Prime, that lets you pick David Ebenezer and get him off the card that he was supposed to be fighting on November 19th.
Hey,
Go ahead, Ricky.
Let me address, because I got to get out of here real quick too. I just want to address, because I'll read the chat. Andrew Charles. Yes, I did have Porter beating Bud, but that was a Porter that wasn't retiring the next fight.
Facts.
Right? So, but that's neither here nor there. My point is this, and no matter how y'all try to twist it, try to flip it, how to make it a pancake, y'all man had a contract in front of his face and didn't sign it.
Facts.
What is y'all talking about? Oh, Arrow moving to 154. He got to fight Thurman. He wouldn't have to fight Thurman if he fought Bud.
Exactly.
No matter what y'all keep saying, y'all man ain't the one who didn't sign a contract. Y'all got more confidence in him than he do.
Mm-hmm.
Why y'all ain't on Bud's Twitter telling him make the Arrow fight?
Yep.
Y'all always over here. We told y'all back when he ducked that he was gonna end up fighting Rocha.
Mm-hmm.
It's a plan. This dude don't want to fight. What y'all talking about? He gonna make millions. And if he's so tough, like y'all say, he the best adjuster and he's the newcomer, it should be easy for him to beat somebody that's so-called one-dimensional like Arrow. Why he not taking the fight?
Exactly.
What is y'all talking about? Y'all said forever and a day, well, Arrow ain't sending no contract. Somebody sent him a contract. As soon as y'all sent Bud a contract, he up. He ain't done what? He walked away from the table and was back dealing with BLK Prime while making the Spence fight. Which part of that don't y'all understand?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got him beating everybody and he fought nobody. If y'all want to keep it real, he had one of the weakest runs to undisputed in history.
Exactly.
Who did he fight that was a killer at 140? I'll wait.
Nobody.
Y'all was happy that he beat what's the boy name?
You talking about 140 or what?
No, 130, the Cuban boy that everybody.
Gamboa.
Right.
Gamboa.
Y'all was happy he survived that fight.
Yep.
Stop, man. Stop. So what? We lost money, Andrew Charles. How come he didn't sign the contract?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Answer the goddamn question.
They can't.
And I told y'all which part of the game is business that a contractor can come in and tell you how to spend your money when they ain't putting no money in. Which part of the game is that? Because that's what y'all saying Bud should have got. That's what Bud was asking for to make this fight. What is y'all talking about? He still ain't making a fight. He still ain't trying to make the fight. Everything from the point of him ducking is on him. Anyway, I gotta go, man. Hey, y'all keep working, man. Y'all keep working, keep being just like we got to be honest about it. Boxing lives on YouTube, man. It lives on YouTube. ESPN, ABC, they don't care about it unless it's a casual event, man. But we got to keep it trill. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep it 100, man, because otherwise y'all gonna be putting y'all money towards fighters that really don't appreciate y'all, and that's what y'all don't get it at the end of the day. What Bud is saying, fuck y'all as fans. That's really what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck y'all. Y'all gonna pay for these garbage ass, weak ass fights. And because I'm Bud Crawford, and because I keep telling y'all I'm gonna beat Errol when I get to it, and he ain't gonna never get to it. Y'all have a good one, man. Stay safe, bro. Have a great weekend.
All right, you got it, man. Thanks for coming on.
Peace.
And the crazy
go ahead, D. Go ahead, D.
The crazy thing about it, that they keep complaining about Crawford need to feed his family and all that, but he was gonna make more money in the Errol Spence fight than he made in any other fight. But this man is complaining, y'all complaining. As a fan, we shouldn't be worried about the money. As a fan, we should be worried about them making a fight. Now, we know that Crawford and Bomac and them was the one running around here talking about Errol Spence money. That's where all the money issue came. And then Terrence Crawford, Mr. Duck Dynasty fans started coming out talking about that Crawford made more money than Errol Spence. And then what Errol Spence said, when he was in an interview, the interviewer asked Errol Spence, he said that Terrence Crawford and them said they make more money than you. So they was the ones who was talking about money. Errol Spence said, if he make more money than me, well then bring his tax statement and I bring mine, and we'll see who make more money than who. But see, they telling us how come we in Crawford pocket, but they the ones who was in Errol Spence pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And even in Oklahoma, when Errol Spence and his friend and his girlfriend rolled up on Terrence Crawford at a top rank card, Errol Spence told Terrence Crawford to his face, "You make $3.5 million a fight." He said, "I've been making that." He said, "I've been made that." And that was before he was on pay-per-view.
Facts.
So they asked, somebody in the back kept asking Bob, because you remember with Bob there, Bomac, and Crawford. They told Bob Arum over 10 times, when you going to make the fight between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Now, a lot of people keep saying that Errol Spence was saying that Al Heyman, when he started naming Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, he wasn't talking about what Al Heyman said. He said that's what Bob said. He didn't, because they was talking about Bob Arum. He said, "Bob, you said that Al ain't real." And then when he started saying that, he said, "I will fight Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and all these things." He was talking about what Bob Arum said, that he was going to fight this Sean. Then Crawford said, he didn't say my name. He said, "I guess I'm going to have to call Al myself." Yep. But people keep saying that he was saying what Al Heyman said. Al Heyman never said that, because Errol Spence is the one who decides who he going to fight. So I'm not understanding where these people get their logic. Then Errol Spence told him, "If you want to fight," he said, "call Al." He said, "Call Al." Yep. And he said, "Get with him." And he said that he could make that fight. So Errol Spence was in another interview after that with a female. I did it in my did a video on it. The female asked him, "What happened between you and Terrence Crawford?" He said that Bob Arum said that he was going to call Al on Wednesday. He said, "I don't know what happened, but all I know is I got a call to fight Sean Porter." So Bob never called Al to make the fight. And even when Bob Earl said, we're all brothers, you need to stay away from Terrence Crawford. How come Terrence Crawford didn't tell Bob, hey, Bob, hold up. You're my promoter. You need to make that fight so I can fight Earl Spence. You're my promoter. Don't tell me to stay away from him. Don't tell Earl Spence to stay away from me. No, make the fight. I want to fight him. Terrence Crawford didn't say anything. Bomac didn't say nothing. Nobody said nothing. They walked off and started laughing.
Facts. Hey, Bandel, a guy named Bandel. I want to read his. I want to put it up on the screen too. He putting words in B Hop's mouth. Marty capping again. Hey, Bandel. I don't know how I'm capping, but this is what I'm gonna do though. Let me show you what I'm gonna do. Yeah, we air fry on this. We air fry on this channel. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, Bandel, because I want to see where I'm capping at, bro.
Send him the link.
You already know. You already know what I'm gonna do. Detail. Hold on. Let me send you something. I'm gonna send you a Christmas gift. Yeah, I'm gonna send you something in the chat, Bandel, because I want to understand what you're saying, brother or sister. I'm not sure if you're a man or a woman, so I don't want to offend you. Hold on. Let me get you. Let me make sure I'm in the chat. Did the link come up there? Oh, the link in there. Come on up here, Bandel. Come on up because I want to hear what I'm capping about. Yeah, we can talk about it face to face. Yeah, that's what I want to see what I'm capping about because I heard what B Hop said. I was listening to it the other day when they posted. I think that was on Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So I want to see. Yeah, come on up. I got the link in the chat though. Since I'm capping, I want you to come on and tell me, what I'm capping about so I can roll the tape. Yeah, just roll the tape on you. You know how we do. And also, oh, that's you? I don't think that's Bandel. Who that? Somebody in the background. That might be him. I can't see. Oh no, that ain't him. I don't think that's Bandel. That's somebody else. Hold on, I'm gonna let you on. Hold on, let me see. Roddy Alex, you there? Roddy Alex, can you hear me?
I was trying to send you a super chat. Give me a sec. I'm trying to send you a cash app. Hold on.
Well, while he doing that, I want to welcome everybody in the live. We had a professional certified licensed timekeeper here on the channel. She's licensed and certified in multiple states around this country. And we had a great conversation and dialogue with her. I'm sure that you all may have learned something that you didn't know about timekeeping in the business of boxing. Rod, thank you for your cash app. Thank you for your contribution to the channel. I really appreciate it. And I think this is Rod right here. That's already on, right? He was gonna send me. He was gonna send me some. Hold on, Carl. I got you, Carl. Let my man Carl jump on. Yo, Carl, what's up, Carl? What's good with you? Look, hold on, somebody else just sent me. All right, yeah, that was Rod.
That was me again.
All right, thank you again for your contribution, Rod.
Background loud.
Hey, Rod, I'm gonna let you in for a few minutes, and I'm gonna let my man Carl Brown speak too. Go ahead, you got the floor, Rod.
No, he can do his thing.
Hold up, what's your man low?
All right, go ahead. He giving the floor to you, Carl. Speak on it, brother.
I can hear you.
He can't hear you. I don't think he can hear you, Marty.
Oh, hey,
something wrong on his end.
Hey, Carl, can you hear me, Carl Brown? Can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me?
It's something on his end. Well, I'm gonna just say a few words, a few things, and I'm gone, man.
All right, go ahead, player.
We good.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
all right,
good.
go ahead, Carl. Speak on it, bro. What's going on with you?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah, Carl, you the man. You the man of the hour.
Oh no. I still feel the same. I really wanted to come up here. I wanted to hear what y'all was thinking about it. I was just smoking, so I just really wanted to come up front and center, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in and out though.
I got you, bro. Yo, before you start, Rod, let me holler at my man. Hey, yo, Big Dose 513. Email me that beat, man. I told you I'm gonna go in the booth and spit on that beat for my intro. I'm gonna go ahead and rap on the beat. You gotta send me the beat. I see him in the chat. Big Dose 513. Email me that beat you said you was gonna send me, bro, so I can lay something on it. All right, my fault. Go ahead, Rod.
Do your thing, man. One thing is, like, I don't get it. He's been saying it for years. Like, I'm gonna tell you when I stopped being a fan of him. When he re-signed the top rank, that's when I knew he was gonna duck. Fuck everything that's going on now. I just knew he was gonna duck. I ain't even surprised like this going on with him. You can see by his character, like all that. If you go back and look at his past opponents and all of like before the fights, you see how his energy be towards him. Ain't none of that towards Earl. None of that shit. None of that shit. Especially when they met up, he was all joking. Come on now, man. That man's soft as baby shit. like I respect his craft because I try not to disrespect anybody. It make you hate them. It make you hate them. But I appreciate it.
Oh man,
I gotta get off. I gotta get the door, gentlemen. Y'all take it easy. Thank you, man.
Salute. Anytime, brother. Anytime. You know you're welcome, bro. Appreciate your support. My God. Hey, Carl, you good, Carl?
Yeah.
All right, listen. Well, I got my man Detail on here, right? I'm about to pull the rules and regulations up because you know we dealing with the elephant in the room. There's another elephant in the room. I want to get y'all.
Yeah?
Well, the first elephant I want to speak on is I've heard a lot of content creators, media, just in general. I put this on my channel about a month ago or two, where I talked about this 18 months. People keep saying the WBO regulations. I'm not coming at nobody. I just want to educate. I'm using it as a teachable moment now. People keep saying that Terrence Bud Crawford, according to the WBO rules and regulations, have 18 months to fight a mandatory because he is the super champion. I said it on my published content about a month ago or a month or two ago, where I talked about the 18-month rule is nowhere listed in the rules and regulations of the WBO. I don't know where that started from. I don't know how someone read that in the WBO rules and regulations, but I have not seen it, and I know the rules and regulations a little bit thoroughly. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually post up the evidence so I can roll the tape on that, so we all can be basically on, the same page. No, that's the other one. Hold on. We're going to start right there. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this here is talking about the privileges that super champions have. I'm going to read it up the top. Those fighters recommended. Hold on. This thing is blocking me. Hold on. I'm going to get it. Hold on. The what's the name is blocking me here? The where you see the time and the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got something for it though. Watch how I pull this joint up. Yeah. It ain't over. Watch this. Here you go. Privileges afforded super champions. All right. I'm gonna read it so we all can be on the same page here.
All right.
It says these words right here. Those fighters recommended by the championship committee and approved by the executive committee qualify for the following rights and privileges. This is one of the rights and privileges that these fighters that's recommended by the championship committee and approved by the executive committee qualify for, since Terrence Bud Crawford is a super champion. Number one, extension of mandatory title defense. Now, let's be clear here. The mandatory title defense for any other champion that's not a super champion is 9 months. It's not 12 months. It's 9 months. So now let's read an extension of the 9 months that a mandatory title defense will be privileged to a super champion. Number one, extension of mandatory title defense. The championship committee may extend a super champion's mandatory title defense for good cause shown one or more times beyond the time provided for in the WBO regulations for world championship contests. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll to Take film crew, for the purpose of giving a super champion opportunity or opportunities to unify the titles of more than one of more than one major sanctioning body, either in a unification bout or a unification tournament or any other important match or matches that the committee determines would contribute to the super champion's legacy or would be of great interest to boxing fans. Let me
Word.
interpret that for people that may not understand that
For the
clearly.
one in the back.
There is nothing in this rule and regulation that you've seen as a privilege to a super champion that says that their extension of a mandatory title defense would be 18 months. Did y'all see that detail in my man Carl?
No, no.
Okay. So that means that whoever started that, they made people believe that, and other people that didn't conduct proper research, they ran with that, and then they start reporting that. So I want to make sure we're educated and we're all
Right.
on the same page. Now that we got that clarified, let's see the reasoning behind the super champions mandatory title defense be extended. Let's see the reason. It's provided for the purpose of giving a super champion opportunity or opportunities to unify the titles of more than one major sanctioning body in either a unification bout or unification tournament or any other important match or matches. I'm going to stop right there. Now, was David Evanesian, since that happened, 13 months? Remember, he fought Sean Porter in November. That was supposed to be a mandatory challenge. And 13 months later, he fought David Evanesian. Now, remember, the original rule is that a champion defend the title mandatorily within 9 months. But because Terence Crawford is a super champion, I can see them extending it for the 13 months for David Evanesian. So my question is, what was the purpose of them extending it? Because according to their own rules and regulations that we just read, it was for the purpose of giving that super champion an opportunity to unify the titles. He didn't unify the titles with David Evanesian, right or wrong?
He didn't. He didn't.
So why would they extend it past 9 months to give him an extra 4 months to defend the title against David Evanesian? Now, watch this. We're gonna move on to that last part. Since Terence Bud Crawford keeps saying he don't care about legacy because his legacy is already secure. Let's look at the bottom where it says, for the purpose of giving a super champion opportunity or opportunities to unify the titles of more than one major sanctioning body, either in a unification bout or a unification tournament or any other important match or matches, watch this, that the committee determines will contribute to the super champion's legacy. You mean to tell me that fighting David Evanesian and fighting this guy Rocha is contributing to Terence Bud Crawford's legacy?
No,
Nope.
no, that it don't do shit for it, man.
Oh, okay. And then I'm gonna read that last, and I'm gonna read that last part, and then deep down, I want you to go air fry on this. Watch this. Or would be of great interest to boxing fans. I ain't found one boxing fan yet that said that they want to see this Rocha fight.
Not one.
I ain't seen one boxing fan yet that said they wanted to see the David Evanesian fight over Spence. So none of these fights that Crawford was in is of great interest to boxing fans, nor does it contribute to his legacy. D-Town, can you help us understand that, bro?
Wait, hey man, Jamadi.
Yes, sir.
Wait, yeah, this is one thing I want to say. Because it's crazy to me. It's crazy that with Terence Crawford really putting these type of fights on, like And everybody screaming out they want the best to fight the best. Let's take Earl. I said it before. Take Earl Spence away from Terrence Crawford. How good is his opponent? This let Earl Spence fight. Let that have been Earl Spence that signed up to fight Roach. What you how you think it's gonna go? All bad. First the David Ebenezer, then the Roaches. But it started way before that. It started way before that. So for them to give all those, this man got 39 fights. You know I was saying that before. For them to give all those fights a pass, everything was a slap on the wrist. Everything was a slap on the wrist for him. It was a slap on the wrist, left and right. For his fans to look at those fights and say, he's the greatest, and these the type of fights that he's been giving us. But when Earl Spence fought Danny Garcia, which we all know Danny Garcia proved himself, and I ain't think Earl Spence could just whitewash Danny Garcia the way he did. I ain't think that, but he did. He showed us how great he was off a car accident. You get what I'm saying? They looking at all these Terrence Crawford fights back to back to back to back, and don't you know one thing that they all say that they all got in common about every fight? Oh, PBC fighters don't want to fight him. Now, if I'm put me in Terrence Crawford's shoes, I'm breaking down PBC door to get in there. I'm chasing after them because I want greatness. If what Terrence Crawford's fighting for, he want greatness. I'm breaking PBC door down. Who won it? Al. I'm talking about me and Al became the best of friends. Al, yeah, give me him. I'm Earl Spence at PBC. I'm coming over to take all that. But Terrence Crawford didn't take a step. Like for instance, like they said, after the David Ebenezer fight, he could have easily just said the same thing Earl Spence, if not, and he'd have got the last say on that. He could have and they asked him. They got gassed up. The crowd got loud. Everything. They asked him straight up, but who you want next? So is that Earl Spence? They even said Earl Spence's name. He went back. We're going to go back to the drawing board. Come on, man.
That's what he said. Man. That's what he said. Good point, Carl. Hey, Detail, can you cook on that information I just read, bro?
Yeah, the deal is Terrence Crawford don't care about nobody. He don't care about what the fans want. He don't care about what anybody want. Not even the Roy Jones Jr. and everybody else. He don't care because tell you the truth, it ain't no fight that Terrence Crawford have fought that the people was interested in. I'm talking about the only fight that I probably was interested in was to see him fight Sean Porter, and that was it. And even that Sean Porter was talking about retirement after the Earl Spence fight. And you got people that want to give Terrence Crawford credit for a retired mind, Sean Porter, but you can't give Earl Spence credit for fighting the Sean Porter who had multiple trainers that then trained his whole heart out and fought Earl Spence. And people don't realize now I actually think they do realize Earl Spence said that he was going to beat Sean Porter at his own game. See, Sean Porter trained that way for years. This ain't something that Sean Porter trained for that one fight. Sean Porter trained like that for years. Earl Spence went in there and beat that man at his own game. Even Lennox Lewis said that. Even Sean Porter in the interview said that Earl Spence tried to beat me at my own game. But you got people saying that no, Sean Porter made him fight like that. Now, if you watch the first 1 or 2 rounds in that fight between Earl Spence and Sean Porter, you seen that Earl Spence was boxing Sean Porter. He could have continued that, but Earl Spence was a man of his word to say, I'm going to beat Sean Porter at his game, and I have more dog than Sean Porter, and he went and changed his style to beat Sean Porter at a rugged dog style fight. So what you saying, Manager Martin, it ain't no fight that Crawford fought that the fans wanted to see but him and Sean Porter. And he scratched and clawed not to fight Sean Porter. But all these other fighters, he signed a contract just like this. He scratched and clawed not to fight Earl Spence Jr. So when it came down to a threat He didn't want to fight him. But when it came down to fighters that he knew he could beat, he signed a contract right away.
Facts.
And you know another thing, and you know another thing. This is another thing that they all running around with. They running around with that. Sean Porter. Some people saying Sean Porter beat Earl Spence. How? I seen two cards said
Once
116,
it
111. How is
was
that
one.
close? Take the knockdown away. Take the knockdown away. How is that close? Like that's why we saying the hate for Earl Spence. Earl Spence could say one thing. Earl Spence could put a let me see something. He could put this on Twitter. He could just put this on Twitter, and they got so many stories for it. So even if for people that don't even follow boxing, some people look at what's going on and they'll look at it and say, I like that guy because that guy stand out the way. He not doing too much talking. And why do these people hate him? And then they start growing interest in Earl Spence. Like, let's see what this guy about. This guy got to be about something. Because why he put up something so simple and they making stories out of it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Tim Crawford,
That,
yeah, you know, you get what I'm saying.
yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you was done. I apologize, brother.
No, yeah, I was just getting to that. I just don't. It just blow my mind to see some of the people, the hatred, and I be on a lot of people platforms. I'm talking about like I go under their comment, like if they be like, oh, thanks for looking at my video. I mean, I don't look at their whole video. I just see what the content about. Then I hear some dumb come out, and I'm always in a comment, and they reply back to me. So I can't be saying nothing dumb. It's something that struck a little bone in them that, oh yeah, he hit me. He hit me where it hurt at. You know what I mean? So, and I'm talking about, I mean, I don't even want to say no names. It's some big names out here that they replying back to me. And I don't want no kudos. Look, I ain't make no podcast, no nothing. I like coming up here listening to people like you, D Town Boxing, even Blue Blood Sports sometimes. And me and Blue Blood Sports go at it back and forth. The reason why I ain't gonna say the reason why I'm still over there. I'm just a loyal nigga. BFTD, I'm all over there. I started off with Champ Side. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but it's not even about boxing no more when it comes to the hate that they showing. They,
Yeah.
they, ain't, they ain't showing hate about like this my favorite fight anymore. Because you got some people that's going off this thing in their head. They saying Terrence Crawford would have did that to Danny Garcia. He would have did that to you, Dennis Ugas. And they really believe in their head that's what made him great because what they think that he would have done to him. But it ain't all of them. Cause I asked like my homeboy, he's Terrence Crawford fan. We go at it. And we go back and forth, but he know, and I ain't saying that because I'm talking to y'all and I'm saying it, but he know, real just recognize real. He say, yeah, you make a point. He like, but I'm going for Terrence Crawford. They scared to go that route.
Well, that's because people, you know, for some odd reason, some people, when they're in the presence of success, their pride won't let them say, you know what, Al Heyman's doing a good job. You know what, PBC's doing a good job. You know what,
Right.
Showtime is doing a good job. Let me give you an example. I've heard people say over and over again for the last 6, 7 years, maybe 6 years, oh man, the reason why Terrence brought Crawford start late, he's downloading information, he's processing it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Nobody was saying that years ago, before 2017. You know where they got that from? Joe Tessitore, who ain't never laced up a pair of gloves in his life on ESPN. He was the first one that said, oh, he's downloading and processing information. But them same people that give Crawford credit to say he's starting slow downloading information, they'll criticize they'll criticize Tank Davis for starting a little slow too. The
Right.
same ones that give Crawford
Right.
credit for starting slow and downloading information, they shoot shots at Tank Davis for starting slow as well. So it's like, come on, y'all. Which one
Yeah.
is it? Which one
Right.
is it? Is it you a fan of Crawford or you the fan of the sport? Everybody I talk to that's a Spence fan, they overall have a perspective of being a fan of the sport,
Right.
not just I'm just Spence. But on the other side, when it's Crawford, It seems like they're not the fans of the sport. They just fans of Crawford, 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 Crawford. So
No matter what.
the guy, the guy Darrell Adele, man, what's this kid? This guy, he still didn't go in the, he still didn't come up here yet. I'm still waiting for him to tell me how I'm capping. He's a Crawford fan because I see some of the things he said in the chat about Crawford. I want him to come on up. The show manager Marty, roll the tape on me now. You said I'm
Come
capping
on
about
up.
what Bernard said. Come on up and show me where I'm capping at because I heard what Beehive said. You know what I
Come on
mean?
up.
And on top of that, anybody that's just a Crawford fan, I'm not talking about boxing fans that just think
Right.
Crawford will win. I'm talking about people that's just Crawford, 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 Crawford. Can you please tell me in the chat or the replay of this live in the comment section,
Oh,
what
come on up.
are the numbers that Crawford did with BLK Prime against David Amnesia? I've been asking that for 50 days, and I'm
Yeah,
still waiting. Somebody said you do be capping about Bud though, Manager Marty. Leon D31, that's you. You
just
do
ask
be
for help.
capping about Bud though, Manager Marty. All right, Leon, I'm gonna send you a Christmas gift, bro.
Right.
I'm
And
gonna send
just
you a Christmas gift, Leon. Come on up here and show me how I be capping, bro.
ask them how. Yeah, this how.
So
Like,
I want him to come and bring his face up here so the fans can see what he's
yeah,
talking about. Yeah,
yeah,
bring me to the front.
front
That's all I
center.
want to see how I be capping. Go ahead, D-Town. I'm sorry, you wanted to say something, brother?
The deal is, it's easy for them to say that somebody capping when they disagree with what you're saying. It's not you really capping. It's just that they disagree with what you're saying. And then when you ask them to explain it, they go out, they start making up stuff that you didn't say and putting words in your mouth. But see, it ain't you capping. They just don't understand the truth. And the problem is they rather believe a lie than to believe the truth because it's against their narrative. See, me, I told people I was a Terrence Crawford fan before I was an Earl Spence fan. So it don't have nothing to do with me being from Dallas, Texas, and me meeting Earl Spence Jr. Because, like I said, I met Earl Spence. Man, he would chill on the back of a truck for hours, at a dog training event. Because I used to put them clothes on, them coats on, let the dog bite you. So I was a decoy.
Oh,
And
one of them.
I know a buddy, he has his own business doing that, and he deals with all the celebrities. I mean, I didn't see rappers and everything go up there and have him to train his dog, even police, everything. And my buddy goes over to Earl Spence Ranch. So if I want to get in contact with Earl Spence or any of these people, I could do that. But it's just that I don't try to bombard to try to ask simple questions about certain things because I know that these people are busy. But my deal is a lot of these people don't want to recognize the truth. And like I said, I was a Terrence Crawford fan before I was an Earl Spence fan. The only thing that I do not approve of Terrence Crawford is the decisions and the way that he's moving at 147. That's my only problem with Terrence Crawford. And he's lying to the fans. I mean, just be straight up and say, how you gonna tell Keith Thurman that if you're sure of your skills and your abilities, don't fight no tune-up, fight me, but then you go off and go fight a tune-up instead of fighting Earl Spence Jr. So I mean, quit saying things about other people when you actually talking about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Good point. And here, listen, I don't have a problem with Crawford. I think he's a good fighter, but at the same time, when it comes to the business perspective that I provide, I'm calling spade a spade, like I call everybody up to the front. And I know for a fact that there were decisions that Crawford made that showed me signs as a manager that he did not want to fight Spence, and he's been showing this consecutively, and that's just the bottom line. I don't have no problem with him. You know what's interesting to me, D-Town? He never put our name in that tweet. He put Fernando Ego name in it.
Right.
We've been the most critical of the guy as far as business.
Right.
And one of the things that get me is that Crawford said he does not give a care about what the fans say. He don't care about what nobody say. But then you tweeting and trying to fight people because people have an opinion, and you mad at them for having an opinion. See, the problem is when the truth hurts, and we're not making up nothing. We actually saying the same thing that Terrence Crawford said, or we saying things that he had actually done. So why would you get mad at us for saying the same things that Crawford said or the things that he have done? If you mad at us, then you actually need to be mad at Crawford because he the one who did it.
Right. Facts. And I want to clarify something. Somebody in the chat was saying that Errol Spence fans are real fans of the sport. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm
Right,
saying,
right, right.
people that are Errol Spence fans, they come out and say they're fans of the sport and they want to see a great fight between Spence and Crawford. But on the contrary, Crawford fans, they don't say they want to see a great fight with him and Spence. Crawford fans just say Crawford did no wrong. Crawford, Crawford, Crawford. They're not talking about the
Mm-hmm.
sport of boxing holistically. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody that misinterpreted what I was saying, that's basically what I was, saying. But I'm still waiting for the guy.
And
The
look, let me say something.
I put the link in the chat. So y'all basically trolling. And so this is my thing. Why
Yeah,
troll? Why be on here to troll when I'm right here? You know what's interesting about this detail? I gotta say this because it's relevant. You know what's interesting? People have said so many disparaging things about me. Carl Brown, you remember seeing this on my content too. People done said all kind of stuff about me. I'm a fake manager. They're gonna expose me. All kind of crazy stuff, right? I'm a water boy. All kind of stuff that they say about me and Jamari. But you want to hear something that's interesting? Nobody want to come on my channel and say it live in living color to me. So what that tells me is y'all know in your heart that is not true, like my man Detail said, but y'all just want to be emotional, like my man Omega Red said. Y'all being emotional. Come on, men. We don't have to
right.
be emotional about this. If you want to say something about Manager Marty, I'll give you the platform. You don't have to run on nobody else's platform now. I'm always gonna give you the platform to come say it here live in living color. But when I see that you don't want to come on here, what that tells me is you don't really mean what you're saying deep down in your heart. You don't really believe that Manager Marty's a fraud or whatever, a fanboy or whatever other names that y'all try to say about me. I've heard y'all say bad things about D-Town in the comment section and all that. Why? We're just men having a conversation about boxing. There's women in the chat. Women are just having conversation about boxing. And what I've noticed, even in the live chats on this channel, your channel Detail, when you do content with your comments and other channels, the women seem like they be relaxed and chill. It's
Yeah.
the men that be all emotional, acting like women, but the women be falling back. They be listening. They be commenting. They're respectful in the chat. They're respectful in the comment section. So men, we got to get it together, man. We
Yeah,
ain't got to be disrespectful. Just because we disagree doesn't mean we have to disrespect. Just because we disagree doesn't mean that we have to disown. I don't know why we do that in our community, where as soon as we disagree with somebody, we got to put them on blast. We got to disrespect them. That ain't cool. We
and
just
it's
disagree. It's
and,
all good. Go ahead,
and
Carl. I hear you, brother.
look, and it's one thing that for people to say, like, yo, it's my competitive nature inside of me. That's one thing to do it that way, but the way they going about it's totally different. Everybody can see it's totally different. It's like you feel like if you run into one of them in person, like you really gonna have to put your hands on them. Like
Yeah,
that's how deep they take it. They not even taking it to, and I ain't gonna front to the point that like I be yelling at my phone sometimes. Like while I be looking at certain videos and or something that come up, I'm like, I be really mad. So I'm like, but that's I know for sure that's the competitive nature in me because I'm saying that to myself. These dudes will actually hit you up and call you like the other day I asked old boy, I said, what is a Earl sexual? Like how did that come in your mind to want to call somebody a Earl sexual? I never even thought about making a nickname for nobody that I'm arguing with. So if you took the time out of your day to say, I'm gonna make the most sweetest, you know, you know, feminine thing to give them a nickname for a fighter that I don't like them, but then they'll turn around and say, I used to, all of them say this. I ain't never met one yet. I used to be a fan of Earl Spence, but if I can't find nothing, and I'm really down the middle. But Earl Spence is one of I told you the other day. Earl Spence is one of my favorite fighters. I've been following him since he got in the sport. So I mean, I don't really care about what they be saying, but like I said, it's just hard for me to put in my. I can't even think like that. I can't think to say the person whoever made the first one that made it up. Then a lot of them just start running with. I just can't think to say, oh, I'm about to make a name like that to call a group of people over a sport that they're supposed to be for. Even if it's your favorite fighter, it's still, you can make money off this. We could make bets, same way we make bets off the Super Bowl and everything. Like, I don't get where they mind frame be at. For anybody to come up with something like that, they mind frame and it's not, like I said, it's not all of them, but it's more than 90% of them.
Facts. I want to
You know what
address
I mean?
the guy Leon D31. I sent the link. I see you ain't gonna come up, and that's cool. I'm all right with that. But you did ask a question, and I do want to answer it. Leon D31 says, "I'll give an example. You've been saying that Bud lacks proper representation. How come you didn't say what Espinoza said about Bud not needing a promoter on that recent Espinoza interview that you're citing?"
Oh,
Well,
man.
here's the thing, Leon. Here's the thing, Leon. You even know that uh, um, Bud Crawford lacks proper representation. Even you know that, Leon. And anybody else that's Bud fans, y'all even know that. So let's just clarify that we all agree that. I told y'all back in August on YSM Sports Media that neither Terrence Crawford nor Bomac can out-negotiate Steven Espinosa and Al Heyman.
Yeah.
So I've been
I,
telling y'all that then. But just
I,
because you mentioned this about Espinosa's interview, I want to address that. So we both agree, all of us agree, that Bud does lack proper representation. Now, as far as Espinosa saying that Bud don't need a promoter, let's clarify that. What Espinosa was basically referring to is the fact that he didn't need a promoter to get Al Heyman on the phone personally. That's what he's basically saying. He didn't need a promoter to get Errol Spence on the phone directly. That's what he's saying. So basically, if you can get Spence on the phone directly and his representation in Al Heyman, you probably don't need a promoter. But what he do need is representation as a manager or an advisor to be able to, first of all, negotiate on his behalf because he thinks that somebody's going to rob him. He's not going to get what he's deserving. He's not going to get what he's worth. That's where you need proper representation. But if you can get Al Heyman on the phone directly, it's no point in you running over there to De La Hoya. If you can get Al Heyman on the phone directly, there's no point in you running over to BLK Prime to fight David Ebenezer. You see, I make too much sense, Leon. So even though you're saying that, you will have to come back with the rebuttal of answering this. If that's the case that Espinosa is saying that he don't need a promoter, why he run over there to BLK Prime when he could have secured the fight with Al Heyman and Spence because he got their direct line? Why is he running over to LA? He from Nebraska. He all the way over there thousands of miles away in LA, talking to De La Hoya and Golden Boy, where he got Al Heyman line and Spence line on the phone directly. Remember, he's the same guy that said something about a hedge fund and he got some people bigging up big money. He was able to directly talk to them then. So what's the problem talking to him now when he don't have a promoter? You see, y'all just making up stuff because it fits a narrative. I'm talking about the business of boxing. We're talking about the perspective of boxing as a whole because we love the sport and we want to see two of these undefeated great champions get in the ring with each other. It's no different than what Tank Davis about to do and Ryan Garcia. These two guys is getting in the ring, the best fighting the best. Caleb Plant, Benavidez. These two guys, the best of the best, getting into the ring, fighting each other. That's what we're talking about. Y'all trying to create a narrative and run with it, and it's not working because we have too many. It's too much evidence out here that people have. Because basically, Bud Crawford is giving us all the evidence we need. He's documenting everything that he's saying on IG, the Twitter, YouTube. And the thing is, all these other content creators, it's funny to me how they're pushing it. Some of them, not all. I'm talking about the ones that's pushing the false narrative. Y'all can't even get Crawford on your channel. Y'all putting all of this eggs in your basket to help Crawford with this false narrative, and he won't even give y'all an interview. He won't even come and give y'all the time of day on your channel after y'all following behind his narrative. I'm just saying. D-Town, you got something on that, bro?
The deal is, when I was on Fanon channel with Rachel Donaire, she said out of her own mouth because you have a lot of people saying that Earl Spence should have been at the negotiation table. See, but the problem is Earl Spence have Al Heyman as his advisor. A lot of people don't understand what an advisor is and what a promoter is. And Al Heyman is both of those. But Al Heyman is Earl Spence's advisor. Earl Spence came out of his own mouth and said that he makes the final say so. That's what Earl Spence said. Earl Spence said he makes the final say so, not Al Heyman. So Rachel Donner said that her husband, which is Donor, Denito Donner, said that he never was at the table at the negotiations. Never. She even asked him on live because she was on there with me and Fanon on Fanon channel. And she told her, she said, hey, babe, she said, how many times have you been at the negotiation tables when we negotiated for you?
Yeah,
He said, none. She said, none. So she said, why would Earl Spence need to be at negotiation tables when he has Al Heyman working for him? See, Crawford don't have nobody working for him. That's why he have to be there. But why would Earl Spence have to be at the negotiation tables when he the one is upset or don't agree to what he got? Earl Spence is okay with what he got. So why he need to be at the negotiation tables because Crawford doesn't approve or doesn't like what he got? So I'm not understanding why Crawford, because Earl Spence wasn't at the negotiation table when Crawford got his first 1 or 2 term sheets. He wasn't there when he got those. So why did he need to be there for the last one?
Yep.
Facts. And that's what I was saying. And that's what I was saying before about everybody forgetting about the first 2 times that they was at the table. They keep worrying about that last time. And if anybody really believe in their mind that BLK Prime and Terrence Crawford and David Avenesian made that fight in 48 hours, they out of their mind. They out of their mind. If they believe that fight got made that fast, everybody been on it. That Terrence Crawford been talking to BLK Prime. Like that right there was the no-brainer when he said it's a no-brainer. That right there was the no-brainer. You ain't making no fight in 2 days. And had this guy drop out of his fight to come fight you. That means a lot of paperwork got to get done right then and there. Y'all keep the same venue and everything, but a lot of paperwork got to get done and stuff. And remember, it wasn't in Nebraska at first. Remember, so you said David Avenesi was going to fight in Nebraska. He wasn't. So they squashed that whole card, and they squashed that whole card. They had David Avenesi come fight Terrence Crawford, and they want people to believe. And the crazy part about it, Terrence Crawford fans really running with this. They want
but the thing is, they run it with it. They run it with it because it fits a narrative instead of just saying, "Hey, we're fans of the sport. We want to see 2 guys fight." Now, check this out, right? And Rachel Donner is absolutely correct because even when I advise for fighters or manage them, they're not there with me negotiating any terms with any promoter or another manager or a matchmaker. So Errol Spence don't have to be there when he had representation. It's no different. Watch this now. If you are involved in an automobile accident and you hire a personal or accident injury lawyer,
right?
How many times did you sit there in the negotiations or the dialogue between the injury lawyer and the insurance company?
It was
Never. Never. But when the injury lawyer call you and say, I got the check, that when you cut down there and sign it. That when you cut down and sign it. You see? So we got to stop trying to make the bar so high and keep moving the goalposts every time something happens with Spence. And speaking of that, let's look at, since we on what's the name of our topic this evening? The name of our topic is, let me put it up there for the new audience that's coming in. Elephant in the room. Since we're on elephant in the room, let's address it right now. Yeah. Let's read. All right, class is in session now. Since we got Terrence Crawford supposed to be fighting Rocha. A classified boxer may request recognition as mandatory challenger in writing to the WBO on a form which contain substantially the provisions of the application for designation as mandatory contender contained on the WBO website. Alternatively, the committee may designate a mandatory challenger based on the above criteria. In either event, the mandatory challenger must agree to be subject to and to abide by the regulations and to be bound to participate in and comply with the results of A. And basically, I didn't put the rest because it is not
Right.
important. Let me interpret that for those that need interpretation. A classified boxer is not considered a super champion. So I want to dispel the myth while I have all of your attention right now that Terrence Bud Crawford nor Ish Hansen, his legal representation, are the ones who petitioned the WBO. Okay? Here's the evidence right here. A classified boxer may request recognition as mandatory challenger. Terrence Bud Crawford is the super champion. He's not a challenger. Okay?
Right.
So that means that the challenger must be a contender. So what that means is that a classified boxer, let's use Alexis Rocha as an example, since he is now the mandatory challenger, he requested recognition as a mandatory challenger in writing to the WBO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he was able to become a mandatory challenger. Now, if that didn't occur, alternatively, the committee designated Rocha as the mandatory challenger based on the above criteria.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell y'all what I believe happened.
Uh-huh.
Because
Go ahead.
look at the timeline and look at when I told y'all on my channel Tuesday night that when Alexis Rocha got finished
Uh-huh.
fighting his last fight on
Uh-huh.
on January the 28th, he was in that press conference and
Uh-huh.
Fight Hub and Fight Hype was there, and FightHype.com had it. And he says, they asked him a question. Yo, you think Crawford will be next? Eric Gomez. Go back into the paperwork. Eric Gomez and his executive at Golden Boy Promotions. I met Eric Gomez when he came to Philly. That was like 2 years ago, I think. Him and Bernard Hopkins was in at the 2300 Arena, and they were celebrating J. Russell Pelt's 50-year anniversary as a promoter here in Philadelphia. Now, Eric Gomez and his executive at Golden Boy Promotions. If you go back on that Alexis Rocha post-fight interview with the press, Eric Gomez came over to Rocha, put his arm around him, gave him a kiss on the cheek, was
Uh-huh.
about to walk away, turned around to the media and said, Terrence Crawford is next. That was
Uh-huh.
on January the 28th of this year. And he said, Terrence Crawford is next. And the person that was behind that camera on Fight Hype said, yo, did y'all hear him? He said, Terrence Crawford is next. So how come on February the 27th, nearly 30 days after Gomez said that, did the WBO send that letter off
Uh-huh.
to show Crawford and Golden Boy that they're going to mandate him and it's going to be a purse bid if they don't agree within 20 days? So the
Right.
truth of the matter is that even Alexis Rocha was surprised when Gomez said that. Wanna know why? Because Golden Boy is the one that wrote that letter on behalf of Rocha. Because don't forget now, that same weekend was the same weekend that De La Hoya did that interview after the fight. And he said, yeah, Terrence Crawford came to our office
It
and we
wasn't a
talked.
mistake.
And we talked to him about fighting Rocha. Why you think the media knew how to ask Rocha about Crawford? Because Golden Boy ran his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
De La Hoya ran his mouth and he put that picture up there. Y'all remember that picture with him and Bernard?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He put that picture up there with him, Bernard, and Terrence Crawford was standing in the middle. That was that weekend. So that goes to show us the timeline of they was trying to put the wheels in motion to get the fight to be mandated. You want to know why? Credibility. What do I mean by credibility? So that nobody can say, oh man,
Yep.
look at Crawford. He went over there to duck
Yep.
Spence so he can be with De La Hoya. No, because now, as a fan, you'll look at it different and say, oh, he didn't duck Spence. The
Uh-huh.
WBO is forcing him to fight this guy, Rocha. They put that move in motion beforehand and slipped the WBO a little envelope. Because that's going to entice Crawford to sign with him now. We're talking business now. We're talking about the elephant in the room. All the people that's criticizing what I'm saying have not conducted one business transaction in this sport. So you have to take my words as credible. I know what I'm talking about. They put that ball in motion as soon as Crawford agreed to whatever terms he agreed with De La Hoya and them. And they said, now we're going to put it in motion to put the writing in place as documents so that the WBO will know we want Crawford to fight our guy. They got the biggest horse in the race here.
And did you hear Bernard Hopkins the other day?
Yes, I did. But the guy in the chat said that I was capping. Go ahead, Carl. Cook on what he said. You remember what he said?
Yeah, I remember what he said when he was saying we got the best of both worlds now. We got Terrence Crawford and we got Virgil Ortiz.
That's what he said.
But they gonna let that go past their head because they don't want to hear it. You know how they is. They gonna let all that. Like I said, Earl Spence could come out right now and say, "I called Terrence Crawford last night." They designed to say Earl Spence capping. Terrence Crawford ain't say it. Terrence Crawford ain't say it. Earl Spence could be 100% right. They know that he right. But as long as all of them know, and if one of them know, they're not gonna let the rest of them know the truth. And that's crazy, but that's how they built. And it isn't no kicking shade or no Terrence Crawford fan. It's just if you see something, it's like they said, if it look like a duck, it walk like a duck, it quack like a duck, it's a duck.
Yeah, a fanboy killer. You said I was capping, fanboy killer. You said capping, Marty capping. I
They
sent you
go
the link, fanboy. Come
they
on
don't
up
want to
here.
do that.
Come on up here, fanboy. Let me hear what you got to say. Because I want to see how you say I'm capping, brother. Hold up. Hold up. I got to stop the tape again. I got
Oh,
another one of my guys on here. Good
oh yeah.
content creator. That's everything boxing.
Oh,
So
oh, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. So if hey Carl, can you put your joint on mute so everything boxing can come through? Put your voice on mute so my man can come on through.
I got you. All right,
Cause I'm just saying it because I hear a lot of stuff in your background, bro.
all right.
There you go, my guy. Everything boxing. Salute. What's up, champ?
Salute, Marty. Salute to the panel, man. Been listening to the cook, man. Uh this whole Terrence Crawford thing, this right up his alley, Marty. It's what he want. I mean, this is what he want. What they say, believe a man for what he showed you. Time and time again, he showed us exactly who he is. You got to look at Terrence Crawford. He's a man that we're not taking nothing away from him in the ring, right?
Yep.
He showed that he's a good boxer, that he's a very good fighter. I don't know if he's great because I judge greatness in boxing on, you know what I'm saying, like who you beat. In order, they say, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. Well, he ain't never beat the man. Who he beat. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's overrated. I really do. I think he overrated because you've been in the game since what? When he turned pro? 2009, 2008,
Yeah.
9,
Mm-hmm.
8. Okay. So you've been a pro for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you mean in those 15 years you still haven't fought another A-level opponent in their prime? So the thing with Terrence Crawford is he's used to getting the praises at the highest degree without having to prove that he's worthy of that. You see what I'm saying? He went through his whole career and they've told you that he's the best. He's number one pound for pound. Oh my God, Crawford is this and Crawford is that. Can't nobody beat him. Can't nobody mess with Crawford. And he ain't never had to really prove and back that up.
Mm.
Anybody else that's gotten those accolades, well, especially a black fighter, any other black fighter that we know that's got those accolades, they've had to prove that. You know what I'm saying? They look at the history. Mayweather had to prove that over and over again. When Andre Ward was called that, he had to prove that. When Roy Jones was called that, he had to prove it. So everybody else, they have to prove it. Look at Jermell Charlo. Look at the fighters that Jermell Charlo has fought, and they're not even nowhere near calling him that. You see what I'm saying? Errol Spence, look at all the fighters that he's fought in their prime, and they still saying that, oh, well, he around number 4. You know what I'm saying? Even Canelo, you got to look at his resume. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't agree with it, however you feel, but he's done a lot more to prove whatever slot you have him in. You know what I'm saying? He's done a lot more to prove that slot. You can't tell me beating a whole lot of C-level opponents and beating opponents that used to be A-level opponents, but then they way out of their prime is proving that. So that's why I say he's overrated, because, I mean, first of all, we know if you with ESPN, I'm sorry, if you with Top Rank is with ESPN. So if Top Rank says, oh, well, this fighter such and such is pound for pound number 1. If you say it enough, if you have a big entity like ESPN saying it enough, then everybody else is gonna start saying it. They did that for him over at ESPN, because he never did nothing to prove that he was pound for pound number 1. You fighting guys like Ndongo and Ricky Burns, and you know what I'm saying, Jeff Horn and things like that. Well, he moved up to 147 and he had all knockouts. Okay. Ain't nobody on Errol Spence's resume couldn't beat none of them dudes. Ain't nobody on Ugas. I mean, everybody, they could have beat those same dudes. And you know what I'm saying? It don't matter in what fashion they beat them in. They all still was going to beat them. So, you got to be able to prove that you are number 1 pound for pound. And he pretty much the only black fighter that I know that's been able to get away with it for this long, but not have to prove it. That's my problem with it. It's like I said, it's funny because if a lot of people say stuff enough times, people just gonna start believing it. You hear all of these ex-fighters and shit. Oh, well, Crawford is this and Crawford is that. What he done to prove it? And he's still continuously showing you that he's not willing to prove it. You're fighting dudes like Alexis Rocha. You fighting dudes like David I've been sneezing. Who the fuck is these dudes? But we see how fast these fights get done when it's a Rudy poop. If it's you know what I'm saying? If it's a tough opponent, well, we need a background check. We need to talk to your school teacher. You know what I'm saying? We need to see how many street fights you've been in. We need to do this and we need that. Matter of fact, we need to do what no fighter has ever done before. We need to write to prove Showtime's budget. So if y'all want to put a commercial on, I need to be able to approve that. Like, man, this dude, like I said, he's overrated. And they might as well come out with the news because, like I said, the video I put out, Bernard Hopkins basically said it on the interview he did. You know what I'm saying? We got like y'all was talking about, we got the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? We got Virgil Ortiz, we got Terrence Crawford, and then he went on to talk about, what they talked about. He says, we talked about with Terrence Crawford, we know he wants to be able to pick who he want to fight.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? He want to be able to pick who he want to fight. And that's exactly what he did with Rocha. Because we know one thing about boxing is they never go by the rules, especially if you got a big name. You know what I'm saying? If Crawford wanted to get around, because first of all, like Marty was saying and explaining so elegantly, his mandatory don't even come up until May.
Mhm.
So you mean to tell me that you already breaking your neck to get this mandatory? Now, if May came along, right, and Crawford had a big fight coming up, it's gonna be with the WBO because he's gonna be defending the title no matter who he fight. If he had a big name, which he could have, we all know that money talking bullshit walk. Money talking boxing. So you mean to tell me, hey, he could have got some business done with Jerron Ennis. WBO gonna look at that shit like, or whoever it may be, another big name, he could have got some shit done, even if it wasn't Errol Spence. He didn't want to. This right up his alley. He always talking about Jermell Charlo. How come he ain't, you know what I'm saying, petition to get that Jermell Charlo fight? He could have did that if he wanted to. He ain't even try to do none of that. Why not? He don't want that smoke. He's comfortable where he's at. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna give me all the accolades in the world, if you gonna tell me, hey, everything boxing, that's a bad motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Everything boxing, that motherfucker, he'll whoop John Jones. If you gonna give me those accolades, if you gonna hype me up like that, he ain't got to do it though. We just know he can do it. Well, shit, thank y'all. I'm gonna take that. If y'all gonna give me that, I'm gonna take that. And I ain't gotta prove it. I don't gotta put myself in harm's way to prove it. That's Terrence Crawford. So that's just him,
You
and
remember? You remember everything boxing when Andre Ward was interviewing Terrence Crawford? He said that if Earl Spence collect all the other belts and fight you last, would you fight him? He say no. So how can you call a man a pound for pound fighter when this man telling you he don't want to fight?
right. He's telling you and he's showing you by actions. You know what I'm saying? He's showing you that he don't want to fight. He showed you that he don't want to fight the best. Because there's always a problem when it's a name that's worthy that come up. It's always a problem. It was a problem with Sean Porter. Man, they had hell trying to get that fight with him and Sean Porter. But see, he didn't know that Sean Porter was already out the door. What if Sean Porter had been the same? Because Sean Porter gave him hell. Let's
Yeah,
talk about that shit. People
yeah,
trying to act like Sean Porter didn't give him hell. A Sean Porter that admitted that he wasn't the same. Daddy
exactly.
admitted that he wasn't the same. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? What if Sean Porter had been still in his prime when he fought Terrence Crawford? Me, myself, I had went going into like the 8th round, I had Sean Porter ahead. You know what I'm saying? What if Sean Porter been in his prime to where when he was in his prime, he wasn't fading like that. He was on your ass the whole fight nonstop. What if Sean Porter had been that same dude? You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Well, we'll never know, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know.
Good
His
cook.
daddy said it. His daddy said it. His daddy said my son was the same Sean Porter that fought and trained for Earl Spence. He said it would have been a different story.
Let me read this super chat real quick from my man Aaron H. Muhammad, my guy. He donated earlier and he's donated again. Thank you so much for your contribution, Aaron. He says, Manager Marty, we have a question from Fanboy Killer. Why did Errol Spence request to fight Thurman at 154? He's patiently waiting. LOL. Aaron Muhammad, you're my guy. I thank you for your contribution and thank you for asking that on behalf of Fanboy. But you know what, Fanboy? I'm not going to answer that question because you asking that question to another man. I sent you the link, bro, and I want you to come on up here. I got the big heavy hitters with me tonight. I got detailed boxing and I got everything boxing. You know what I mean? So come on up, brother. You keep chatting. I sent you the link. Come on up, man, so you can speak your piece, bro. You don't need you don't need Aaron Muhammad to speak for you, man. You know, come on up here, man. We ain't nobody gonna jump you, man. This ain't no, you know what I mean? We gonna let you speak. I just wanna see why you keep saying I'm capping, bro. And you saying something about Spence and Thurman. I want to say this real quick because from the last time I checked, I haven't heard anybody from PBC, Kelly Swanson. I said this before on my channel. Kelly Swanson, the publicist that they use, Swanson Communications. I haven't heard nobody from PBC. Haven't heard Spence. Haven't heard Thurman. I haven't heard any other representation from PBC say anything about him fighting at 154. Now, that's no disrespect to Mauricio Suleiman, you know what I mean, the president of the WBC. But my thing is, I ain't hear none of the people that's supposed to be involved in the fight announce it yet. So I don't know if he's fighting him at 54, 47. I don't know. But my thing is, even if he's fighting him, the only reason why he's fighting him, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, is because Crawford, who said he agreed to everything, he didn't sign none of the contracts. So we got to put that in perspective, y'all. You see what I'm saying? You got it, detail. Let me hear what you guys say, bro. Speak on it.
It's funny how these guys believe things, when Earl Spence or PBC or other people, they have not came out and said anything about this. And they believe something that somebody else said. But when Terrence Crawford actually say something and we say that he said it, then they don't believe it. So you don't believe Terrence Crawford what he say, but somebody else can make up something or make up a lie about Earl Spence or make up something that Earl Spence did not say and y'all believe it. I'm not understanding, how y'all think. I'm not understanding y'all perspective of things. It's like y'all wishing and hoping for something bad for Earl Spence and the PBC, but y'all want to give Crawford praise for doing nothing. Terrence Crawford had an opportunity to fight Earl Spence many times. I mean, even when he came out for the accident. And I see a lot of these Crawford fans always asking questions that has nothing to do with Crawford fighting Earl Spence. Y'all asking questions about this, asking questions about this, over here, over there, and none of that pertains to why Terrence Crawford ducked Earl Spence and fought David Avenesia, who already had a fight lined up when you had Jerome Buenis, Virgil Ortiz, Keith Thurman, Dennis Ugas, Speedy Rashida, all these guys was looking for an opponent, and he ran right over all of them to dig in the bottom of the barrel and got him a crawfish from the very bottom where it's burnt at and picked up David Avenesia when you had killers on the top with their hand raised. And y'all don't say nothing about that. But y'all can say something about the killers that Earl Spence fought. The deal is that Mikey Garcia probably beat 99% of the people that Terrence Crawford fought. Mikey Garcia. I haven't seen a pound for pound fighter that Crawford fought. Mikey Garcia was a top pound for pound fighter. Then you have people saying that how come Earl Spence did knock out Mikey Garcia? But if you realize that Terrence Crawford beat Mikey Garcia twice in the amateurs, and he didn't knock him out at all either. And he fought the man 2 times and couldn't get Mikey Garcia out of there. Now, y'all might say that might be the amateurs. Still, it's still boxing. It's still boxing. And when you come from the amateur to the pros, you enhance your ability. You get better. Both of them got better. Everybody got better. Now, I'm not sure the percentage, but I know Mikey Garcia didn't become a top pound for pound fighter in the amateurs. He became that in the pros. Terrence Crawford, so-called pound for pound fighter in the pros, not the amateurs. So I'm not understanding what Earl Spence said that I'm going to outbox him. He said that blatantly in front of everybody before he fought this man. And y'all talking about how come he didn't knock him out. But anybody know that an experienced fighter like Mikey Garcia understands how to cover himself up, understand defense, understand survival. Look what happened with Jerome Buenis and that other guy, whatever his name, Karen or whatever. That guy ran from Jerome Buenis. Jerome Buenis is known for knocking people out or beating people up. What happened? That man survived. So if a person come in the fight trying to survive, especially with the skills that Mikey Garcia have, he can survive.
Facts. Hey, let me say this. Cash App Incel. I see you. Cash at me for showing support. Thank you for your contribution. We have the guy who said I was capping earlier, Bondell. I think he's in the back. I think he's. Let me bring him on. Uh, he said Bondell. He said something about. I think Bondell's the one that said that Bernard Hopkins didn't say what I said he said, or I was capping. But we got him on here live. Bondell, you are on the Manager Marty show with my guy Everything Boxing and my guy Detail Boxing. Salute.
Hey, how you doing, man? Thank you for inviting me to the panel. Yeah, salute. I can't. I don't know if I can hear you. I don't usually do this. I usually just listen and comment in the chat. Okay, yeah. I said you were capping.
I can hear you.
You have to mute. He need to mute his I
Okay,
guess
yeah. I said you were capping because number one, you made it seem like Golden Boy has signed Bud when they haven't.
Did you hear me say that they signed Bud?
Well, you implied that they signed Bud. You were making statements implying that they signed Bud. Okay, never mind that. Another reason why I say you were capping.
Hey Bondell, you
Okay,
gotta
okay, but let me
mute
just
your
say there's
Bondell.
another reason why I say you're capping. There's many reasons why I say you're capping. It seems like every time I listen to you, you're capping.
Well, Bondell, can you
Yeah,
can you can you mute your you might have two streams on. Can you mute one of them? You have a lot of feedback in one of your streams.
yeah. What's going on is I can't really hear you, man, on my phone. You're coming in very low. I don't know how to turn this up. Okay, but what I did was I turned off the television. Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, maybe that was
another
it.
thing you said that B Hop said during the interview with the Spit Group podcast over there with IOTBA, you said that B Hop said that as a fan he would want them both to take tune-ups. He didn't say that. He said as a fan he would want them to fight next. That's what he said.
No, Bondell, I can assure you that B Hop said, and let me quote him. He said, as a fan, he would want them to fight a tune-up, meaning Terrence Crawford fight a tune-up, and then Spence fight a tune-up, and then the next fight should be them
And
fighting
I'm
each
saying
other.
you're absolutely wrong. That's why I
Okay,
said you're capping. If you go back and look at the video, you'll see that he specifically said that as a fan, he would want them to fight next. That's what B Hop said. He said it clearly.
okay,
Another reason why I say you cap is
okay.
because on another show you said that Terrence Bud Crawford has no promotional company. When he does,
What's the
it's
name
clear
of
that
it?
he has a promotional company.
What's the
The
name of
name
it?
of his promotional company is Terrence Bud Crawford TBC Promotions.
Let me ask you a
That's the
question.
name of his promotional
Okay,
company. And you said that he didn't have a promotion. You're always saying that Bud has no promotional company. That's cap.
okay. Can I
Another
ask you?
time you cap is when you made a video saying that if the fight promoted by the fight that BLK was controlling, you said if that fight happens in Omaha, it will not be on pay-per-view. That was cap. The fight was fought in Omaha and it was on pay-per-view. That's cap. Another
Okay,
thing I want to address, if I
can I
may.
can I respond, Bondell? I mean, you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah, go
do it.
ahead.
Okay. If Bernard Hopkins said that, I would like for you to replay it if you can. If you can't, I will go back and I will listen to it again. And if he did say that, which if he said what you're saying, that as a fan he would want them to fight next, I will come right back on here live and I will correct myself and apologize for being wrong. Okay, have no problem with that. However, Bondell, if I go back and listen to it, did you listen to it recently, like tonight?
Excuse me?
Did you re-listen to what Bernard said while I was doing this live stream? Did you listen to what he
No,
said?
I listened to it the other day when it was live. I listened to it. I listened to
Okay.
it, the Spit Bucket Podcast. That's the
All
name
right.
of the channel.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
could tell y'all. I could tell y'all what he exactly said. Cause
okay.
so
Cause,
so
So
Hey,
okay,
yo,
so
I don't need you to tell me what he said, but can
no,
I
no, no,
finish
no, it's
my
fine.
point before you
I wasn't
interrupt
even
him?
talking to you, first of all.
Excuse me.
Huh?
I wasn't talking to you, first of all. I'm talking to Marty.
Oh,
Okay,
I
but
didn't hear you.
may I finish? I'm just saying you don't have to tell me. I know what the man said.
Nigga, I wasn't talking to you. I'm talking to Marty.
All right, hold on, Bondell. Go ahead. Everything boxing. I couldn't hear you.
So,
Everything. I thought that was him talking to me. My fault.
so Marty, what he said is he said that this is what he exactly said. He says that if it was up to him, if it was up to him, he'll have him go straight into a fight. But he says that him personally, he says he wouldn't want neither one of them to fight no tune-up type of fight. He says that he wouldn't have Terrence Crawford fight no tune-up type of fight. That he'll have Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence to fight opponents that are very capable of beating them. That way that they can prepare for each other. So he says he wouldn't have he don't want to see Terrence Crawford fight no tune-up type of opponent or Errol Spence. He wants them both to have tough fights so they can prepare for each other if they don't go straight into a fight with each other. That's what he said. But
Okay.
we all know that Terrence Crawford is fighting a tune-up.
Right.
Alexis Rocha is the bottom of a barrel tune-up.
Right. Okay. So what I said was
Hey, Marty. Like I said, B Hop said as a fan he would want them to fight each other next. You can go back and listen to it.
okay. No
Okay, this is
problem.
what I want to ask. I want to ask the
Bondell.
panel,
Bondell.
if I may.
Bondell. Before you ask the panel, can I respond to the other two things that you said about me?
Go ahead.
Okay. You had mentioned something about BLK Prime, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what month I said that fight wasn't going to happen on pay-per-view?
I don't remember all that.
Okay. Because that's when I said it. See, I didn't say it when they announced that it was going to be on pay-per-view. I announced it way before that. So when you say that I was capping, it wasn't that I was capping. I actually had a conversation with the Nebraska State Athletic Commission. And that was not in December. That was before that. So I wanted to give you a good timeline that I wasn't capping. It was based off a conversation that I had with the commission over there in Nebraska.
Yeah, but
You had,
all I know is that you made a video, and your video was dedicated to the notion that if BLK holds that fight in Nebraska, it wouldn't be on pay-per-view. And you were
right.
wrong. And
That
you were
was
wrong.
based, and I have no problem with that. But that was
Okay.
based on it. Hold on. That was based on the conversation that I had with the Nebraska Athletic Commission months before that. But I'm glad you brought that up since you sound like you know a lot about BLK Prime and Terrence Ball Crawford. Can you tell me what the numbers are that Terrence Ball Crawford did against Evanesia? Bardell, you there, bro? Now wait a minute, Bardell. I know your phone ain't messed up like that, bro. What the heck happened to that man's phone? I still see you on the screen, Bardell. I don't know if you can hear me. You were talking loud and clear. I was here. Maybe it's my phone. Even though I got AT&T, let me turn the volume up. Bodell, you still there? Bodell?
Bandelli.
Oh, I apologize. Bandelli, there you go. Can you,
Bandelli.
Bandelli,
Yeah.
I apologize for that. Can you tell us what the numbers were that Terrence Crawford did with David Evanesian over at BLK Prime?
Hey, sir, I'm not privy to BLK's numbers. All I know is what's
Oh,
public.
okay.
I
You
know
was
what you
talking like
know.
you knew everything about BLK Prime. So I was
No, no,
understanding.
no. I just know that what you said was wrong. And just like what you
Okay.
said about Terrence Crawford now having his own promotional company, that was wrong. You say a
And
lot of wrong stuff. You put out a lot of misinformation. You and
okay.
your boy ETB and this guy here, D Town, whatever his name is. All
All
y'all
right.
put out a lot of
Wait,
information.
hold on. What misinformation have I put out?
Who's that?
Man, you know who you talking to. You know who you talking to because you
Who
just said my name. I
ETB?
said
Oh,
what misinformation have I put out?
I would have to listen to a show, man. Just one of your shows.
Well, shut up,
I
nigga.
take,
For real.
I take, I
You
tell
just
you
on
what.
here talking some bullshit.
Next time you have a show, I'm gonna call
Next
in. Okay.
time, nothing. I ask
I'm
you a question.
I'm
Answer
gonna
the
hit the link.
question.
I'm gonna hit the link. Okay. Let me ask you something, ETB,
Yeah,
if I
go
may.
ahead.
Answer the question that I just asked you. You said something on my name.
I just can't call something,
I just
from
can't.
memory.
You put out a lot of information, but I can't
Get
think
it.
of it right now. You's a clown.
Yeah,
You a
use a
clown,
bozo.
dog.
And use a bozo, Negro.
Yeah,
Use
you's
a
a clown.
bozo.
How
Yeah,
you
you a
gonna say
bozo.
somebody putting out
Hey,
misinformation, but you can't think of none?
hey, let me ask you this
Get your
question,
ass off the
ETB.
panel.
Let me ask
You's
you
a
this question.
clown.
Let me ask you
He
this question, bozo. Let me ask you this question.
You don't got nothing else to ask me.
No. I want to ask you this question. Who did Terrence Crawford beat to win his first belt? Since you like to make statements that he's overrated, who did Terrence Crawford beat to
I
win his
just
first belt?
told you you don't have nothing else to ask me. You ain't running shit,
I
you ain't
figured that.
nobody.
Yeah, I figured that. You a lame, man.
For real, you ain't running shit up here, you ain't nobody.
Yeah,
How
all
come
right.
Crawford ain't signing the contract? If you want to add something,
Sign what contract?
how come he ain't signed the contract to fight Earl Spence since he claiming that he want to fight Earl Spence for 4 or 5 years? That y'all keep, well, I don't say you, but people keep saying that he was chasing Earl Spence for 4 or 5 years, which that's a lie. How come
Hey,
he didn't sign?
listen, my man. I don't know anything about a contract being there or presented. I don't know anything about that. All I know is Bud said that.
He agreed to all the terms. That's what he said.
Now that's what y'all say he said. I
No,
don't
that's
recall
what
him
he
saying that.
said. That's
I
what
don't
he
recall him.
said.
I don't recall him saying that. All
That's
I know
what he
Bud
said.
said was that he told him that he wanted to fight in 2022, and they didn't deliver that. So he
They
went on it
did
for
deliver.
amnesia.
They did
That's
deliver.
what Bud said.
He had 2 term sheets. They did deliver it. He the one who was with Jay-Z. He the one that was playing basketball with 50
See,
Cent.
all that shit is speculation, man. That's what I
No,
mean by
he
saying y'all be
was.
freestyling, just
He
making shit
was.
up. Where
He was.
you getting this information from, man?
Go do your research since you do a lot of
No. You
research.
tell me where you get
Go
this
do the
information. He was with
research.
Jay-Z
It ain't
and
no
all this other stuff.
speculation because he took
Cause you
pictures
see,
with the man. He
okay,
took pictures with
because you
the
saw
man.
him in a
He
picture.
was
That
with
means
50
that he
Cent.
had term sheets with Jay-Z. And man, come on, man, with that nonsense, man.
Espinoza said it. He said they gave him term sheets and he didn't call back. They was waiting on him for 2 or 3
I
weeks.
want to talk to ETB. He said Bud is overrated.
But what?
Tell me, since Bud is overrated, when has EJ cleaned out a whole division? When has EJ beat the number 1 and 2 man in any division?
He just beat the guys over here at 147.
Yeah, I said number 1 and number 2 man in the division. When has EJ ever done that?
Who was the
Bud
number
did it
1,
twice.
number 2 guy? Who is the number 1, number 2 guy?
Bud did it twice.
Cal Brook.
Huh?
Cal Brook was the number 1 guy. He beat them. He beat him.
Man,
He was the
Brook
number 1
wasn't
guy.
no number 1.
Yes,
Brook
he
wasn't no
was.
number 1
Yes,
guy.
he was. He was one of the top guys at 147 when he beat him. He was undefeated at 147 when he lost to Triple G. Yes, he was one of the top guys.
No. Cal Brook was not over Thurman when Thurman and Pacquiao was number 1 and 2 when he fought Cal Brook. What is you talking about?
No.
Hey, Bud beat the 1 and 2 guy at 135, the 1 and 2 guy at 140, and he will beat Spence ass if he stopped ducking him.
Man, that's speculation because you can't even get the man to sign a contract. You can't even agree to the term sheets. What are you talking about? He couldn't even say the man's name. He couldn't even say the man's name in Omaha.
And why they couldn't put on the contract a date for 22? Why they couldn't fight in November, December? Bud was ready.
No, they was.
Bud was ready to fight in November, December. Where was Spence?
Bandelli.
Yeah.
They were when they sent the term sheet to Bud out of his own mouth. He said it in May, a month after he fought Ugas. They sent it to him. That was for them to fight at the end of 2022.
Wow.
Now I want to share something with you.
Listen, man. The contract,
Bandelli.
the final contract, so-called contract that they sent Bud had a date for 2023. What are you talking about?
But that's wait a minute, Bandelli. That was in October, on October 6th. You know that they wasn't gonna put no fight up in 30 days in November, bro.
BLK did it.
No. Listen.
BLK did it.
No, Bandelli, listen. The thing about it
Hey,
is
yo,
this.
the bottom line is Spence wasn't ready, man. He was
Bandelli,
out there
He running.
he was
Running.
eating, getting his drink on.
He
He wasn't
running.
training. Spence wasn't ready, man. That's
Bandelli,
the bottom line.
Bandelli, I got you. Okay, no problem.
Spence
Let's
wasn't
say
ready.
I
Bud
got you.
stays in shape. Bud
Okay,
lives in the gym.
Bandelli, we
Bud is
can see
always ready. Spence
Bandelli,
ain't. Spence
Bandelli,
overweight now. He crying about the weight.
No, he
Bandelli.
not. No, he
We can
Yeah,
not.
he crying
sing
about the weight. He been crying about the weight for months. What are you
Bandelli,
talking about?
Bandelli,
Yeah,
Bandelli. We can
yeah.
sing at the same time. We can pray at the same time. But brother, we can't talk at the same time. Okay, hear
Yeah,
me
all
out
right.
real quick.
You got that.
I appreciate it. Hear me out real quick.
Mhm.
When they sent the final contract on October the 6th to Terrence Bud Crawford, and I want to ask you an honest question. Was Terrence Crawford in negotiation with BLK Prime, yes or no?
Was he in negotiations with BLK? Yes. See, one thing
No,
about me,
no. See, I
Manager
didn't
Marty,
ask you.
I don't
Bandelli,
know, man.
I
I
did.
can't say he
All
was
right.
in, or he was, or he wasn't. I don't know. He may have
Okay,
been.
no
I don't
problem.
know.
Okay, you said you don't know.
Yeah.
But you just said it took BLK Prime within a month to get the fight done with David Ebenezer and Crawford. So that
No,
means you
no,
do
no,
know.
no. They said they got that joint done in like 2 days.
Okay, say no more. They got it done in 2 days.
Yeah.
But David Ebenezer was scheduled to fight on November 19th in another country, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then. So that took way more than 2 days. Now let's get
No,
back
that's
to
what
your.
you're saying. That's what you're saying. That's not what
I
David
spoke.
Avenezian's manager said.
Let me
David
tell
Avenezian's manager said it took 2 days, and
Bandelli.
he said what he did was that he agreed to vacate the belt, and the guy he either fought for that vacant belt or they gave it to him, and then
Bandelli.
the fight with Bud was official.
Bandelli, I got you,
Yeah,
but let
yeah,
me tell you something. You're
yeah,
talking right now. Let me show my face so the audience can see what I'm saying.
yeah.
You're talking to a guy who's a manager, and I spoke to David Ebenezer's manager, Neil Marsh. I spoke to him already. So I'm
Okay,
telling you what the man told me, and I
and
got everything.
he's given many interviews saying what I just said.
I'm not talking about an interview. I'm talking
Yeah.
about a private conversation that I had with Neil Marsh myself, bro. That's what
So
I'm
you're
trying to
gonna tell
explain.
me he's telling you in private something different than what he's telling the world? That's what you're telling me.
No. What he's saying is it took them within 48 hours, 2 days to sign the bout agreement.
Okay.
But they already had the bout already settled for him to come to America to fight Crawford way before that. That's why it took them a long time to get David Ebenezer
That
off
way
of the
before
card
part,
in
I
another
think that's
country.
cap. I think you
You said,
adding that, bro. I
okay,
think that's cap.
listen,
You
bro.
adding that
You
way
you don't,
before. You adding, bro.
bro.
That's extra.
Listen. You don't have to believe me. I'm
Yeah, I
okay
don't
with that.
believe you.
No
With
problem.
all due respect, I don't believe you.
I respect that. No problem. Just
Yeah.
like you don't believe that I was on the phone talking to the commission way before BLK Prime knew that they was going to do it in Nebraska. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. But that's
Yeah. Okay.
okay because
Yeah.
you said you don't believe that. Well, let me
Okay.
tell you what I don't believe.
Yeah.
TCB Promotions is not a promotional company that Bud Crawford runs. Now I'm gonna ask you one question now, and then I'm gonna see if you answer this correctly. How many fighters is in that stable that Bud Crawford promotes?
I just know himself. I just know himself. That's all I
Oh,
know.
say no more.
TBC, Terrence Buck, just like EJ's
No,
promotion,
no, no, no,
ESJ,
no, no. I'm
just
not
like
asking you,
ESJ Promotions, before he
Bandelli.
signed Frank
Bandelli.
Martin, it was just himself.
Bandelli. I'm
It was
not
just
talking
himself.
about EJ. No. I
Okay,
don't
all
want to
right.
talk about EJ. I want to
I
talk
mean, it's
about
the same thing, man. Yo, look it up with the Nebraskan Commission, man. It tell you.
no,
Terrence
no,
Bud
no.
Crawford Promotions. He has a promotional company. I don't
Let
know
me
what
ask
you're
you a question.
talking about.
Okay, no problem. So
Yeah,
since you said that, then if he
yeah,
has his own promotion company, why
yeah.
was he over there on BLK Prime?
Say it again.
Oh, I think you heard me, Bandelli. Why was he over there with BLK Prime? You don't
I'm
want
not.
to answer that.
No. What I'm saying is that BLK Prime, they the ones that they the ones that handled the fight and all that, but he still has his own promotional company.
So
Just like
why?
Errol Spence has his own promotional company, but
Bro,
he fights for PBC. Come
bro,
on,
you're
Marty.
not.
You're supposed
No,
to be a
no.
manager. You shouldn't even
It's,
have to ask me
no,
those
no, no.
questions, bro.
It's
You shouldn't have
it's
to ask me those questions. You can be have your own promotional
Ben,
company, yet fight on another network.
Bandelli. That's
Yeah,
not what I'm talking about. I'm not
yeah.
talking about a network. I want you to hear me clearly.
Well, PBC, another promotional
Okay,
company, a
listen,
larger promotional company.
Vandelli, I want you to
Yeah.
hear me clearly. Let me try to educate you on something that you may not know. You might know it. Hear me clearly now. Gums, Desmond Gums, correct? You heard that name before, right?
Yeah, I heard the name, yeah.
Do you know that he got his license, his promoter's license to do that card in Nebraska?
I don't know all that. I don't know all that, man.
Well, I'm the manager. I'm telling you that he did.
Yeah,
So
but
what
all
I'm
that's
asking you,
irrelevant. All that's irrelevant to the
no, it's
conversation.
relevant.
No, no, no.
You
The
listen.
issue is this: does Bud have his own promotional
I'm
company?
trying
And
to.
the answer
I'm,
is yes.
I'm trying
Yes.
to answer that. Listen, I'm trying to answer that for you, sir.
You saying he don't? Are you saying he
Listen,
doesn't?
listen. I'm trying to. If you let me talk, bro, you're doing a whole lot of talking on my channel, bro. I'm trying to educate you now. Hold on for a
Yeah,
minute.
but
Hold on
honestly,
for a
man,
minute.
I think you're full of it, man. I,
And you're
I know game when I hear it, man. I think you're full of
Vandelli,
game, man.
Vandelli,
What? Give me a fighter you manage.
Vandelli,
Give me one fighter you a manager
Vandelli,
of. Yeah,
Vandelli. You're
yeah,
entitled. Listen now. We're
yeah.
men here. Don't
Yeah,
talk
I
over
mean,
me.
I've
We
been
men.
following you since YSM, man. I think you're full of it, man. I mean, I don't buy
Vandelli,
that, bro.
Vandelli.
I don't
You
buy
are
that, man.
Vandelli.
I think you just a hater of Bud Crawford,
Okay,
just like
Vandelli.
these other
Okay.
two here on the panel.
Okay,
And,
great.
and,
Vandelli. You gonna let me
and
talk?
y'all doing a disservice to the game, man. Y'all
You gonna
doing a
let me
disservice to the game, hating on that man like that. That's
you go
crazy.
Vandelli, you
Y'all,
gonna
that's
let me talk?
crazy, man.
Vandelli, you gonna let me
I don't respect that, bro.
Okay, you gonna let me talk? At least let
Yeah,
me
go ahead and
get
talk.
okay. Hold on now. You're getting a little bit too aggressive. Hear me clearly, man. Because you're doing a whole lot of talking and you're not listening. The reason why I asked you about Desmond Gums having to get his promoter's license is because if Bud Crawford had his promotion license, he would have he would have done business with the other promoter from California that helped with the card. But that's not what happened. If Bud Crawford had his own promotion company, he wouldn't have ran all the way to LA to do no deal with De La Hoya, bruh.
What deal
That's
did
what
he
I'm
do
trying to
with De La
explain to you.
Hoya? There you go again. What deal did he do with
Everything.
De La Hoya?
Because if he
You're
had his
making
own
up stuff.
I'm trying to answer your question. Listen,
Okay,
man.
go ahead.
You're getting a little bit too emotional. You gotta listen, man.
No, I'm saying you. I mean, you just you just said he made a deal with De La Hoya. Tell me what deal he made with De
De,
La Hoya.
De La Hoya said that, bruh. He said it. De La
Oh,
Hoya said it.
he said they made a deal.
Listen. De La Hoya said when they get with Crawford, what fights he's going to fight. Now you've seen the documents that the WBO done put out already, bro. So we see the writings on the wall. Now, with that being
I ain't
said,
see any
if
documents.
he hold on for a minute, you didn't see the documents that go on the WBO's website. They have the mandatory challengers letter that they sent to Eric
Okay, and
Gomez.
what did that letter say? That's how many days do they have to come to an agreement?
No, that has something to do with him being a mandatory challenger. That's not
Yeah,
what
I
we're
know,
talking about.
but from what I understand, they're giving them 20 days to come to an agreement, and if they don't, it's going to purse bid. If it goes to purse bid, then who knows? BLK might snatch it up.
Okay, no problem.
BLK might snatch that up, man.
No problem. I want to ask you a question, Mr. Bandelli.
Go
Did
ahead.
you go onto the Nebraska Business Registry search?
For what?
Thank you. Your answer tells me that you didn't. I did already, sir. And guess what
Okay.
I did not find? I did not find TBC Promotions. And guess what else I did,
Well,
Bandelli?
you better look
No,
again.
Bandelli, you're doing too much talking and you're not listening, sir.
You better
I
look again, bro.
Listen, you said you ain't go. So I don't need to hear that. I already went. I went on the Better Business Bureau, and guess what I didn't find? Okay, then. I didn't find
Okay, so
PBC Promotions.
your position, let me ask you a question. Your position is that Bud doesn't have his own promotional company called TBC Promotions.
He has a website.
No. I'm saying his own promotional T Bud Crawford Promotion. You saying he doesn't have that. That's what you're saying.
I don't see the legal registry of it, and I didn't see him
Okay,
promote about yet.
okay, all right.
Did you see
But I'm
him
saying
promote
he
about?
does have a promotional company. It's called T Bud Crawford Promotions. He has it. Do your research, man.
I'm researching.
Look
Hey,
into it,
listen,
man.
you
Cause,
can't
cause,
tell me how
'cause
many fighters he got in his stable, bro.
I told you I know he got himself.
Who else do he have in his stable?
He don't have to have anybody else, man. He's promoting himself. He's his own promoter.
So why he can't get no deals done then with the big
What you
fight?
mean he can't get? He just had a deal, a $10 million deal with BLK. What you
You
talking
got
about?
evidence of that? You got evidence of that?
Evidence of what?
You heard what I said, Ben Deli. You ain't that slow. Do you got evidence that the man made 10 million?
Well, that's what they're reporting, man. Put it
No,
that way.
no, no. So you just believe in reports, then you ain't doing nothing.
I
You
mean,
just going
but
by
he
the
just had
head,
to
bro.
deal with BLK. That's
Huh?
undeniable. It's
Huh?
undeniable. He just had to deal with BLK.
How much did he get paid?
Yo, the reports are that he got paid 10 million. He may have gotten more than that.
All
Shit.
right. So what's the numbers then? You know everything else. What's the
I'm
numbers?
just saying, he may have gotten more than that. And the only reason why he hasn't signed with anybody else is because nobody can promise him that Spence fight. Once somebody can get him that Spence fight, he gonna sign with him.
Hey, Ben
Simple as
Deli,
that.
why do he need to sign with somebody when he has his own promotion company, bro?
Because he can't pay himself. He doesn't have the money to pay himself. ESJ, I mean Errol Spence, he got his own promotional company. Why is he with PBC?
No, you didn't answer my question. You spinning over the Spence. I asked you a question.
Come
Why
on, man.
didn't he?
Come on, man. You acting like you know you don't know any better, man. Come on, man.
No, I'm asking you a question. If he
Yeah, I
has
know,
his
but
own promotion company,
you asking questions that you know that are foolish, man.
if he has his own promotion company, why does he have
Yeah.
to sign to somebody else?
Hey,
That's what I'm asking.
most of these fighters got their own promotional
I'm
company.
not asking you about other fighters.
Javante
I'm
Tank
asking you
Davis,
about
he got his
Crawford,
own
bro.
promotional company. ESJ got his own promotional company.
See, you
Terrence
talking
Bud
about,
Crawford got his own promotional company. They
bro,
still work with other promoters, man.
bro. You just said sign to, and people in the chat telling me that Terrence Bud Crawford his promotion company is called B&B. I did research
That's
on that and
bullshit.
still
That's
couldn't
the name
find
of
it.
their gym. That's the name of the gym in Omaha. The
No,
name of
I
the
seen it.
promotion. People in the chat don't know nothing. They don't know what they're talking about.
Hey, listen, I seen a picture with Crawford, and it said the words promotion after B&B on the ring
Hey,
apron.
yo, my man.
I did.
I'm not going to argue with you.
You
Terrence
can't argue
Bud
with me.
Crawford has a promotional company, and it's
No
called
problem.
Terrence Bud Crawford Promotions (TBC),
Hey, Ben
and it's
Deli,
registered with the Nebraska State Commission.
why is what?
So I said it's registered with the Nebraska State Commission.
His Oh, he got a promoter's license?
My man, he got a
No,
promotional company, man.
I didn't ask you that. Does Terrence Bud Crawford have a promotion license, bro?
Do you need a promotional license to have a promotional
Oh, so
company?
now you want to ask the manager all these questions. I thought you said I was a fraud.
I, yeah, I think you are a fraud.
So why you asking me do the man need a promotion
hey, you,
license? You should know the
look,
answer to this.
hey, look. I'm not no expert. I don't profess to be an expert. You do.
Oh,
You
okay.
understand what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. I
So
don't know. But I
so
think you're. Can you give me one fighter you managed,
yes, I'm
please?
gonna give you one. You ready?
Yeah.
I manage Ben Deli.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, yo, look. You have a good night, my man.
I know that's
Peace.
right.
All
I
right,
know
peace.
that's
Much
right.
respect.
I
All
know
right,
that's
later.
right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
I can't talk to dudes like
I
that
know
for
it's
you.
cool. It's cool.
I can't.
ETB. I got you. It's all good, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't cause yeah,
Yeah. It's all good.
I can't talk to ignorant. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's just ignorant as hell.
Yeah. He's
But
ignorant.
anyway,
Yeah. But see
yeah.
what it is when people ask me who I manage and they're ignorant like that. I tell them like I manage him. Look about it. He said he watched me all the way from YSM back in July all the way to now. That means I did a good job managing a troll like him. So I don't have to manage fighters when I got to manage trolls to get them to come on the channel and still make money off them. So salute
My
to him.
question is, what fighter does Terrence Crawford have under his promotional
He
banner?
he don't know.
Since he's
He couldn't answer me. He don't know. The guy just said he don't know. But Bud Crawford do not own his own promotion company. It might say B&B Promotions on the apron in that gym because I've seen that. He may say TCB on the website, but I'm telling you, I've done extensive research. I haven't found not one yet. And by him saying that he registered his promotion company with a commission, you don't have to register it with a commission, but you do need a promoter's license to conduct business in that state. And he said he don't know. But he's calling me a fraud, and I know all the answers to these questions. And so I'm glad that he got on. I mean, it's a shame that y'all two had to go back and forth, ETB, but I'm glad you straightened him out.
it wasn't gonna be too much back and forth because, like I said, I just went on mute. When dudes like that come on, there's clowns. They don't have no type of sense. I can't speak to them, so I just go on mute
Yeah.
because I'm on your panel. I don't want to disrespect your panel or nothing like that. So
Yeah, I respect that, man. I just, me, I give everybody 15 minutes of fame. Usually, I usually be off. I don't really hold, people this long, but I see that the viewership, the numbers are increasing so so much. It's hard for me to just back out, but I'm not going to keep people too long. I appreciate you coming on, ETB, Detail Boxing. I appreciate you guys coming on. Any last words real quick from you, ETB? Anything you want to say, bro?
Nah, man, great show. I see you, you continue to build, keep growing, man. And yeah, man, keep putting on great shows and putting out great info.
Appreciate it, ETB. And you do the same, bro. I'm always on your channel watching your content, bro. Salute to you, my brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And salute to you too, D.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, D-Town, every time you come on, there's always something, bro. Hey, D-Town, it's you, D-Town. You bringing me some smoke, D-Town.
You doing that by yourself.
Well, they do call me Mr. Well, some people in my family call me the king of controversy. So I will say I kind of do that myself sometimes. Any last words from you, my brother?
Keep up the good work. We gonna keep cooking these boys. It was just funny how he said that me and everything boxing was cap, but then when you asked him about what we said, he didn't know. So I mean, I'm not understanding, but we used to it on our channel. We used to it. So you keep doing the right thing, Manager Marty. You keep managing these boys and these women. The families, every last one of the people that's in the chat. Yeah, salute to every last one of y'all because we are getting educated every day, and we're going to stick tight together, and we're going to work together. We need to be as a village, all work together. That's all I have to say.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you for coming on the panel as always. Man, we had some heavy hitters on there. There's a woman in the chat. I want to acknowledge her before we go off. Diana, salute to you, Diana. She has made a lot of sense in the chat. I've been watching Diana, not just in the chat, but she's commenting on a couple of published content that I did. So salute to Diana. She makes so much sense. I would love to get her perspective. Maybe soon, Diana, if you're still listening, if you're still here, maybe you can come on and provide a woman's perspective as a woman who's a fan of the sport of boxing. Because a lot of men, for some reason, keep acting more emotional than you, Diana. So maybe we can have you come on and give your perspective from a fan's point of view as a woman. D-Town, I'm going to let you do the same thing you did Tuesday night to close us out. I want to thank everybody that contributed to the channel. Thank everybody that viewed the channel. I know that we went overboard an extra hour, but obviously the content was that engaging. So I appreciate all of you in the chat. Salute to you all. Even the ones that came on the panel that didn't agree with me or with us, we were still able to dialogue. And I'm sure that Ben Deli, he has learned something about this business that he did not learn before from a guy he's calling a fraud. He's still watching the channel. He's still watching my content. He said it himself. He's been following me from the YSM interview that I did, even up until now. So that means he's learning something. And the fact that he's calling me a fraud and how many fighters I manage and all that, I love when people say that because at the end of the workday, I'm giving you something on YouTube in 5 months that I've been on here that the other ones who's supposed to be close to the business haven't given you in 5 and 6 years. So I'm glad that I can still educate even in spite of all of the negative publicity. But I'm letting my man D-Town Boxing close us out. You take the last words and it's all over, D-Town.
Family, let's stick together, and we're going to die together. And the last thing I have to say to everybody, make sure you pray tonight for more strength and more health. In Jesus' name, salute, family. D-Town Boxing, the Manager Martin.